that's a
forever,
special
bro.
moment for me that day in that spot, you know.
Well, I'm
And
glad I took you back 27 years into a time machine.
yeah, crazy.
That's amazing. So now you go there, you're inspired. Yeah, I can see your face. You're like, wow,
Yeah, I'm
back.
thinking about that shit. Like shit, I remember
So
I
so
had
tell me something.
zero confidence. I was scared. I was like
So tell me
scared to even.
when you left the practice. Talk to me about that. Once you left, what happened? What happened at that practice that you were like, that's it. I ain't popping. I'm doing that. Is that what happened?
Yeah, so Elvis had come back before he took me. He had come back and shown me two step, top rock, the six step, and the freeze.
Mhm.
Um, that's pretty much all I knew, but I didn't know how to flow with it. So I kept trying to ask because Gio knew how to break too. So I kept asking Gio to show me stuff, and I went back a couple more times, and then
The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Flash Talks, history worth listening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a special person tonight. Oh my God, man, I'm so excited. I've been dying to do this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce to you Ramon Silverio, aka Junior Jiggy or Jiggz. Jiggz is a b-boy, breakdancer, who was born in New York City and raised in Corona, Queens. Jiggz has been breaking since 1996. Damn, he's been breaking for a long, long time. And he's a co-founder of Supreme Beans Crew. Since the late 1990s, Jiggz has been competing from local to international stages. Jig has also toured and performed with hip-hop artists like Curtis Blow, Big Daddy Kane, Talib Kweli. That's just to name a few. With over 2 decades of experience as a dancer, instructor, and mentor, Jiggz has organized an open practice for dancer at Queens Community House, which has helped cultivate the New York City breaking scene. Jiggz continues to organize, host, and judge events as well as teach workshops and perform. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jiggz.
Supreme being, supreme being, supreme being.
It's a way of life. I put all my energy into the melody on the MPC till the death of me. Record exceptionally, especially whenever I be monumentally, grammatically killing the minds of my DJs. Making that music, keeping them moving when the beat plays. Staying into it, breaking and fluid in MCs. They kicking that truth, should always pursuing what their dreams made. Taking from lucid to really doing. I know the people gotta make their money, and the way to make money is to get inside of the industry. Click it on the radio, blow, so you can go and get a car and a crib up on MTV. But in the end, what's classic? Radio bubble gum or voice filled with passion? To my real hip hop heads, please stand up, cause the only people that can preserve this art is us. Scene.
Supreme being, supreme being, supreme being, supreme being, supreme being.
Welcome to Flash Talks, history worth listening to. My brother, Junior Jiggy. What's good?
Yo, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yo, the intro was official, bro. Like, I'm here watching the demo, and I'm like, damn, I want to like jump in the screen and just throw down with you, man. Damn, that was hype, brother. So what's good, brother? How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Blessed. Still out here, still grinding, maintaining, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay busy, help these new generations out to, take it to the next level past what we ever did,
Yes, we're still here. It's 2022, man. I know you for a long, long time, man. Since we,
Yeah.
in our beginnings, man. And it's crazy that we're still here. We're still in the hip hop culture. We still doing our thing. Like, it's amazing, man. And one of the reasons why I do this show is to basically give my peoples the flowers now, man, and give you a platform because we're still here, and I want to make sure everyone in the world knows who is Junior Jiggz or Jiggy, whatever people call you. Everyone, I need everyone to know your history, how you started, what you did to get where you're at now, to get into the, is it what they call you, the general, the mayor of New York City? What is it they call you?
A bunch of nicknames.
A bunch of nicknames, but yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on the show, and I'm so blessed, man. Like, you don't even understand how excited I am to have you. But we're gonna start it off from the top. Basically, what do you see on the screen? I usually like doing this to everybody. Like, what do you see on the screen, and what do you think of what you see?
The screen right here where we both on.
Yeah, where we at right now.
I see the hip hop elements that stands out immediately.
Okay. What elements are they? Name them, because there's gonna be a lot of people that are new that never heard of the elements of hip hop. Go ahead.
Well, writing, right? Graffiti and DJing, the two OG ones, and then rapping and breaking.
Okay. Now they say there's a fifth element in hip hop. Do you see the fifth element here right now?
Yeah, between us, the knowledge.
Yes, I knew you were gonna land it. Of course, brother. You're born in hip hop. You're in the Mecca. Of course, you're gonna know the fifth element. Of course, the fifth element is the knowledge. Your history, my history, how we met, everything you've done in the past, and everybody's gonna find out tonight. So we're gonna start off with the first question. How were you introduced to the hip hop culture? Talk to us about your beginnings, like when you first saw what you think you called hip hop. It doesn't have to be all the elements at once, but tell me the beginnings.
It has to be the music. That's probably like what triggers the most memories and feelings is for me is like, sonically. Like I could hear a song and like just get goosebumps and get a memory of like 1985 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I don't know if I could curse, but that's
you could do whatever you want, my brother. This is going on YouTube, and whoever doesn't like to watch it, doesn't want to hear us be hip hop. No, I could bleep it too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some kids on the show too. But
yeah, we want the kids to hear this too.
Yeah, just speak your mind, and I always bleep it. I'll put some little sound effects. But you said that it takes you back to 1985 listening to music.
Yeah, like if I hear a song like a Lisa song, like I'll just start like remembering back when I lived in Wash Heights when I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raised in Queens, but I lived in Washington Heights for a little bit because my father's family, they all lived up there. So for a short period of time in my life, I lived up there. And, that's like some of my first memories are from living out there in Manhattan, going back and forth from Queens to Manhattan all the time. But it always, it's the music. I think the first time I saw like MTV, I can't recall exactly what year it was, but it was when I was living in Washington Heights, and I seen like Run DMC and shit like that. And that shit, as kids, that's what was new. That's what we were attracted to. Just like kids now, they like that drill or trap. That's what they're attracted to. We was attracted to hip hop and rap. And, even our parents would be like, quítame esa vaina, you know what I'm saying? Or baja esa vaina, you know what I'm saying? Until they understood, like, yo, now, that's the thing. That's part of the culture. That's what these kids like, So
now, when you mentioned Run DMC,
it's the music, man. Like that's what introduced me to hip hop is the music. And so continue, like you were saying.
So when you saw Run DMC, was that Run DMC My Adidas Run DMC, or was that King of Rock Run DMC? Like, can you kind of remember like what the Run DMC you were watching? Was that around the Biz Markie time, the L Cool J time, like the Keras?
Like before that, like when they were first coming out, like when MTV first came on TV, like on I think my dad used to get like this cable box, WHT, some shit like
Oh
that.
yeah, I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
uptown. So they had MTV as one of the channels in this little box, and like HBO and Cinemax. And this is when when MTV first came out. So it was something new. So they were playing like the new shit, and I don't know if it was the Aerosmith uh
Like the version, because there were two versions.
feature. Yeah, I don't know if it was the Aerosmith feature or what, but I just remember like that hard rap, and I remember like these dudes like this wearing leather, and like these cool black dudes and shit, and of course the sound was just hard, so it was just like immediately attracted, like what's that.
So you
So
kind of
that
saw somebody that looked kind of like either like you or your uncles or someone you see on the block posted
yeah,
up like that. You're like, yo,
yeah,
that looks like freaking Tito or Papo or somebody, you know?
yeah, for sure, for sure. And it was different. It wasn't rock and roll, you know, it was something else.
That's
Eh,
amazing. That's amazing.
uh,
Now, listening to the music, you're watching MTV. You, of course, you hearing listening to the radio. Now, are you hearing rap all the time? Because I know were you born in New York?
yeah, born and raised in New York City.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're born and raised in New York City. So, and of course, you got Dominican parents, and they're playing at the parties. Of course, they're playing some merengue, bachata. They're playing
yeah,
all that. Probably minimal salsa, because if Dominicans is minimal salsa, more bachata, and a few like music that is called American music for the Dominicans, música
hmm,
americana. You know what I'm saying?
that's it.
That's exactly
100%.
right.
Yep. We would beg at the parties, can we put at least a song or two? Pueden poner música americana, por favor, por favor.
Yeah,
They'll let
please.
us rock like one or two songs and be like, straight to merengue or salsa, whatever it was. But they would give us that moment. And because of that, my pops used to have records. So every week he would, like, that was his thing. He would collect music. So we had a whole wall full of records of all types of genres. So I guess he would pick up what was hot at the time. But every time he got paid, like on a Friday night, that was his thing. He'll come home, have a little bit of wine, listen to his new records, and that was what I would see and what I would
Okay.
hear. You know what I'm saying? So I already picked up on like the love for music and searching for new shit and new sounds. But what I said before about the MTV, that's just one example, because you started to hear more rap music on the radio and stuff like that. And um, I don't want to get off too much off the topic, but like I got older brothers. So my brother was the one really introducing me to that. So, before you could press record when you're hearing the radio, when your song comes on, if you got a cassette, you could press
Okay.
record. So my brother would record shit and we would have tapes that we would listen to. And my older brother used to like have mixtapes and shit. We used to try to steal them. And so I was always listening to hip hop as far as I could remember, since I was like 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so basically introduced through the music as I was, when I was young, and then later on, got into some of the other elements.
What elements? You heard the music. So now, were you watching people as turntablists already scratching, or you just saw people playing vinyl on the records? Like, were you kind of like putting two and two together with hip hop? Like, you were like, oh man, that belongs with this and breaking and like graffiti, or you didn't even know that all of this was gonna come together later on?
At first, to be honest, like I remember the images, and I remember like people talking about breaking like certain things like the worm or head spins, obviously the backspin. Those are things that you know you would hear people talk about it. When I was young, I didn't know anybody who did it, but for me, it was like I was still like getting my source from like seeing what I see outside in the street or what I saw in like music videos. So again, it goes back to that, to like the music and then the visuals. So then there was a video music box.
Oh
So
man, that's a big one right there. Video
yeah,
music box.
so that's just something that my brother would find it. Like we had these big ass TVs with these knobs that would go bam 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 bam,
Yep,
and then
that's
it
like
had
the Zenith
yeah,
TV.
yeah, and then it had a second knob where you could go UHF and pick up other networks,
And
and
you
that's the
moving
one
the
that went
antenna in the back, right?
and you mess with the antenna, to get a good signal, and then you see like, oh yeah, Uncle Ralph McDaniel's here, and you see a dude, a brother at a party, at a club or at some type of event, and he's like, oh yeah, video music box, and he's there chilling, talking like probably with one of the artists,
Yep, I
or
remember that.
somebody, and then next thing you know, boom, they'll throw on the rap videos. So we
Oh
would,
man.
yeah. So we would stay up late to watch these things, or whenever it was aired, we would always try to get a glimpse of it, and that's how I got introduced to certain things, like seeing people cutting and stuff like that. Seeing like videos where there was little glimpses of breaking and stuff like that.
Now,
But
were you racking up the bills at the crib, calling the number and trying to put that code in the video
oof.
music box?
No, that's the jukebox. You're talking about, that's another story. The
Well, because
jukebox.
video music box was around the same time, where you call
Yeah.
in and you dial the
But that
number.
was, yeah, it was like on a public access kind of channel where you could see it. But the jukebox was like you had to have cable. And
Yes,
then
yes.
it was a network that you could dial the phone number and put the code for the song that you like. So then you could put the code for your favorite song.
Yeah,
but
man.
sometimes you could just sit there and watch the channel, and they'll put all the ill new videos because people were calling. You didn't have to call yourself. But if you wanted to see your favorite video, you would do it. You would call. And I remember getting in trouble for that, because then my mom see it on the phone bill and she was like, yo,
Yeah.
what now? What the hell is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
And then,
Like,
no more calling. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I learned my lesson. But that's another thing, the jukebox. And I would see videos there with little glimpses of breaking, where I still didn't know what it was too much, but in some of the dance videos, you would see shit, you would
now,
see a little.
can you kind of recall, like, if you could go back to probably thinking of one of the first glimpse, can you kind of think or something, or it can't come to your mind right now what you think it was back then, like what video it could have been?
Breaking, I don't know. For me, maybe more like, I don't know. Maybe like seeing like Michael Jackson videos and seeing
Now,
him
what year was this though? Because that's
gliding.
very important. That's very important. Like what year? Like how old were you?
This
Because
was
how
like
old are you right? How old are you right now?
41. I was born in 81. So like around the
Oh,
mid
you're
80s.
in the 40s, brother. I forgot about that. You're in the 40s.
What you think? I'm like
Damn.
a spring chicken?
No, I'm just saying you look young, brother. Like, we age
Thanks.
really good, man. Like, there's no way people are gonna think you're like 41, bro. Every time you tell that age, they're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe me, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. I guess it's
Bless.
breaking that keeps us going like this, right?
Yeah.
Something we're doing. We're doing something.
Yeah, I think it's the break-in and good genetics.
Yes. So now you were mentioning of the jukebox. You're watching a lot of videos now, and you were watching little glimpses. Now, were you? Go ahead.
On that note, yeah, building on that with the videos, I was also seeing people dancing in like, doing like the house party shit, Kid and Play, Heavy D, Queen Latifah, the hip hop dances.
Yeah,
So
you were in there. That was the New Jack Swing era, going into the boom bap era.
A little bit before that, because then we get into that too. Because then like Boys to Men era, Bell Biv DeVoe, all that.
Yeah,
and
Motown
freestyle,
Philly, all this. Oh,
freestyle too. So like Lizette Melendez, if you see the video, she's doing little top rock moves.
Yeah. And some will, you can see the groove, like they got that you could tell they were around B-Boys.
Yeah, obviously, because like from the 80s to the 90s, that's kind of like they developed from that sound from, you know, that 80s sound like Shannon, like let the music play, right? Took off from there, put a little more Latin, got a little more up tempo, more hard boom, back, boom, boom, back, and adding like, you know, like MPC produced beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. That's like when Jelly Bean came in and all the dudes, Kraftwerk, basically from Germany. Those dudes
Yeah,
inspired
they're pioneers.
everyone. Yeah, they're the
They're from the
pioneers of
beginning.
like the NPCs and all that, and Africa Bombard and all of them. They basically saw them. They were like, "Oh snap, this is pretty dope." But
Yeah,
it's interesting that you're mentioning freestyle
yeah,
because a lot of people, like if I have a conversation with someone from Australia and it's from our era, they're not going to mention freestyle. They're going to be like talking about something else. And it's basically because, well, number one, we're Latinos. Usually a lot of the majority of Latinos, we listen to freestyle back
hold
then.
up.
And
I also grew up in like it was before like my generation, it was an Italian neighborhood. So Italians used to rock with that freestyle shit hard too.
in Miami, I was listening to cats, listening to freestyle when I'll go out there on vacation. And I thought we were the only ones, the fact that we were Latinos in the Heights. And you were mentioning that the Italians were playing it too. But
Yeah,
remember, we're in New York City. So freestyle was really, really big. Like freestyle was
yeah,
huge in the city in Miami. Like, and I know it blew up later on because it comes from the disco era. And you hear the house music, Jungle Brothers, and all that disco. Now, were you into that scene too, and were you kind of gluing it together with hip hop, or you saw it as a whole thing, or you saw it separate, or you didn't know it was separate yet?
yeah. Nah, I knew it was separate, and of course, because rap had a more gritty sound, and the message and the lyrics was different. It wasn't mostly about heartbreak or love songs. You know, it was, you know. So it was easy to separate those two. But then, like when we got to the '90s, is when I'm telling you that I started seeing them more in the videos, dancing and stuff like that, and the beats kind of changed for freestyle too. They got a little bit faster. They were more like break beats, a lot of break beat samples, and then they were dancing and doing like choreo, but like a lot of like, you know, hip hop steps, like George Lamont, and then K7. And K7 is
Yes.
from a group TKA, which was
Yeah.
like that kind of sound, you know, that lovey dovey stuff. But then K7 was more like hip hop. You know what I'm
Yeah, and they
saying?
had kind of like a movement, and I believe that out of there, Proyecto Uno came out, Fulanito came out,
Mm.
Sandy Papo came out, like all these other artists that were branched out of the freestyle, TKA. Like everybody started dividing and started doing their own solo thing. And
Yeah,
you're right. Like I remember watching TV, and then I started noticing like they will go like when they're singing, they're going like this with their hands, kind of like they're up rocking almost.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when they will
Definitely a lot
talk
of.
and a lot of hands, right? Right?
And then, you know, when the break would come or the chorus, they had the little choreo and they would do like some top rock steps and shit like that. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was something that caught my eye too. And whenever we was at house parties or at school parties or church parties, whatever, you know, the little kids start doing the little dances that are popular at the time, whether it's the Humpty dance or you trying to imitate MC Hammer or, you know,
Yeah.
even Vanilla Ice. Like people diss Vanilla Ice, but that record was killing for like
Oh,
two
come
years in New
on.
York, where everybody was like, you know, Running Man to that shit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll go to the store doing the Running Man.
so before I even like learned about like breaking like that, because I don't really remember seeing those old films like that. Like I got my hands on them films in the mid '90s when I started breaking.
Oh, so this is after you got into breaking, and then Pandora's
That's
box opens to you?
that's yeah, that's when I started like learning more about breaking. Like we were trying to like copy that shit, you know.
So where
But
do you see it? Like
but even
what was
but
the
even
first
before
time?
what the movies?
No, like hip hop, like breaking, like you said
No,
you
that's what
started
I'm telling you.
imitating.
Yeah, I didn't really see like breaking like b-boying like that. Like that shit, you know how it is during the 80s, it kind of phased out in the mid 80s. I'm
Yes.
still a little kid. I'm just starting to go to public school, right? And that's phasing out. Rap is getting big. Um So I the first element I took to, like, my first we were talking about how to get introduced. It's because the music and me seeing the videos. But the first element I partook in was graffiti. That's the first one that caught my eye, like, and that I started doing myself. I just started drawing, and then I would see other people do it. I saw my brother had a little tag, and you just pick up with that in the neighborhood.
What you
But
used to write? What you used to write?
my tag was TK. It was TK, and I used to write it differently sometimes, like TKAY or TKAE, or I would just do TK1. And I found out that there was a T Kid, and I was like, whatever. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own shit. I'm from this side,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Did you get to
I was
see him tagged up somewhere else?
T Kid. Yeah, I got to see it like later on when I got in my teenage years, when I started getting around more to the Bronx and shit like that. Then I started hearing about him, that he's a legend and shit, and I was like, that's cool, you know. But it was just something that I was doing in my early teen years when I was living in Flushing, because I was one of my cousins, Freddie. He used to tag. He was good at art and shit, and I just used to watch him do it, and then I would try to copy it or whatever. Or my brother, you know, people would write in their binders. You remember the little binders?
Oh yeah, of course.
They look like denim. It looked like a jean
yeah,
notebook.
yeah. And then
and
you,
then you get
it's like it has dividers in the middle and stuff like that.
but you get some, like, one of your boys that could write like, "Yo, do my name and shit," you know?
Yeah.
Or tag my shit up.
It's kind of like if you're rocking a jean jacket.
Yeah. So
But it's
when
a
I was
notebook.
like 9, 10 years old, I used to go into my brother's book bag and pull that shit out, his binder, and look at the graffiti and try to copy that shit. And learn how to
Oh,
write and learn
yeah.
my own letters, created my own letters by
What was
copying
his tag? What was
letters.
his tag name?
My brother, he didn't even have a tag, or he didn't bomb. It's just the thing. Like, graffiti was like everywhere. It was, you knew somebody who did it, and dudes on the block were tagging, and it's like I don't know, in New York, it was kind of like it was like a lot of kids went through that phase. Like, they were tagging up. It was just like a regular thing, you know?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
remember tagging up, like, even though I wasn't really into the graffiti culture, but I remember like
Yeah.
tagging my name real quick and be like, oh, feeling that little rush. In fact, is it like that S thing that everybody does in the notebook? You know, that three
Oh,
little
I
lines.
learned that shit, like, I was like first grade when I learned
But
that
you know,
shit, you know?
everyone did that. Everyone
I
did
think my
that.
brother actually showed me how to do it, and I used to rock it a lot because my last name is Silverio, so I would do the S,
Oh,
and then
that's
I
right.
would
That's
try to
right.
make letters, pointy letters, to match that shit.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Since I was little, I was always into art, and that's the first, like, element that I was really into, and then hip hop and hip hop dancing, but it was more like party dancing. I didn't learn about breaking until like mid towards late 90s, when two of the homies from my neighborhood, from Corona, they moved out to the Bronx, and they were known for being dancers, and they would kill it at the parties.
But
There's
what,
always
in the
those,
early 90s?
like, mid 90s, yeah. Um,
Okay.
there's always guys in the neighborhood or homies that could dance
Yeah,
and
and
that
they
could
keep
do
it
it.
on the
And
low. They keep it on the low.
some of them will keep it on the low, but some of them will just show off, and they will have like 2, 3 moves, like, "Yo, do the kid and play, do the kid and play," the thread, right?
Yes,
Yo,
definitely.
show me that shit, do it. And like, your boys, they see, "Yo, do it." Or there's one dude that could backflip, right? That was you, right? "Yo, let me see your backflip." Every time you
Yeah.
get to the block, the boys is like,
Oh,
"Yo, he's here. Yo, baxflip man is here," or
yep. I'll
some
do it off
shit.
the wall. I'll do a gainer
Yeah.
and be like, yeah. Like that was
Yeah,
like,
so Wild Child was that guy. He would always be like, "Yo, do the backflip, bro." You know what I'm
that's
saying?
amazing. Now,
Yeah,
now, now,
so
now you're learning all these, you watching these dudes. Like, who were they? That you mentioned two dudes that you were your friend that went to the Bronx.
yeah.
What are their names? Like, I want to
All
hear
right,
these
so
names.
I'll get to that right quick. So
Because you were mentioning graffiti, that's your first element. Well, you first said music, so you hearing the music, and did you know it was called rap? Do you didn't
yeah,
know
of
it was
course.
hip hop? You usually it was rap music.
Rap, hip hop, of course. You hear KRS, hip hop.
Yeah,
Of
yes.
course, I knew
Okay,
it was hip
so
hop. And
but you don't know all the elements. You didn't know
I
all the
think
elements.
I think I did get a glimpse. My first glimpse was probably vague memories of seeing the Planet Rock video. That was like my
Oh,
first like memory of probably seeing windmills and being like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? And being like, I can't even understand what the fuck he just did, but that was dope. You know? So I think it was that Planet Rock video, which is so ill because that shit is at Bronx River Projects, and the community center is where they filmed that video, and that shit is still open. And I was just there practicing the other day with Kid Break. I don't know if you've seen
whoa.
this kid from the
Yeah,
Bronx.
little man that he's flying now.
Yeah, we were rehearsing
What?
for a show, and we was there at that spot. And we had a little room when we were rehearsing, but when I came down, I was telling them, I'm like, yo, you know, this is where they filmed that video and shit. And it was like, yeah, his pops knew
Yo,
and shit.
that's official because I know in the video they show them like kind of like in that gym dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a little stage there too or something?
Nah, it's like a basketball gym, but then you see other clips that were filmed
Oh, okay.
elsewhere.
Because I
No,
know
but
Speedy, White Boy
in the
Speedy
big
D is in it popping. He's like kind of like on the stage popping.
yeah, that's exactly where it's at. I think they probably had a little. They do have a stage. I think they might have a stage in the side of the basketball court, like you know, old gymnasiums are set up.
So immediately,
Yeah,
as soon as you went to the spot, you immediately thought of Planet Rock.
yeah, I knew because I had visited there a couple years ago when we filmed the Get Down. We filmed the scene in the Bronx River Projects where it was a scene with Bambaataa and the Black Spades.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
Zulu Nation.
Yeah, we'll get to that to the series you were the Netflix
Yeah.
series that you were part of, the Get Down. We'll get to that later. Now,
Yeah.
you said music, graffiti. Now,
Oh,
after
the
the
home.
graffiti, what happened after that? Like, you say your homeboys just went to the BX or they moved out
Yeah.
there?
So when I stopped doing graffiti, I was like just getting into high school. I started getting into a lot of trouble, and I got bagged up by the cops writing and shit, and that changed my shit. I was like, I don't really want to really keep getting in trouble like this. I was, you know, missing out on shit because I was getting in trouble.
For sure.
And yeah, so then I was like, I don't know about this, and I was like leaning more into my skating shit, which I know you probably used to skate too.
Oh yeah, come
In
on.
the
Of
90s,
course.
the inline, aggressive inline skating was a big thing when rollerblades came out and shit. So I was really big into that. I was rolling with some dudes that was sponsored by a wheel company called FR. So I was taking that serious, and I was traveling a lot, you know, trying to get up there, you know, and get better. But I was just a street skater. I didn't have too much access to like go to skate parks and get
Now,
really
what year
ill.
was this? What year?
This is like right before Breakin. I must have started skating like 93, 94, kept skating up until about 96, and then that's when I got into Breakin.
It had to be
Yeah.
because I was already, when I was skating was 91, 92, because I was in Dominican Republic skating. The first skates that I
That's
rocked was
crazy.
in Dominican Republic because I was living there, because I lived there for 10 years. And my boy from New York, he shows up. Actually, his parents brought him some rollerblades, and they literally said rollerblades, and they were made out of
Rollerblades.
plastic.
That
Yeah,
was the brand, yeah.
yeah, and they were made out of plastic. So I've never seen them in my life. And he was like, my dad brought these for me, but I don't know what to do with them. So me, I was already like a martial artist. I could flip, I could do little things. I could, you know, I was that New Jack Swing kid that would do a top swipe and land in a split, but I didn't know it was breaking. I didn't know none of that. So he was like, man, I was like, yo, I'll try it right now. So I put them on, got on them, and I told him to push me. But, you know, I didn't move. I just stood like this. And I was like gliding in them. And I was like, yo, this is dope. After that, dude, I got hooked on it. But then I remember when I went to New York, everyone was skating, bro. Every skate park was packed. In fact, when I went to a skating ring, I met this little Dominican, which you know him too. Skinny kid, he was sponsored, and he got into breaking because of me. He was sponsored. I think I don't know if it was K2. It could have been FR, but he had a little name for himself. He went to the X Games.
I know him.
What was his name?
He was sponsored by FR. I was rolling with him Like I was
What
trying
was
to
his
get
name?
sponsored too.
He had a cool little name.
Gil Vasquez.
Gil Vasquez. Yes, man. Dude.
Shout out to Gil Vasquez.
Oh
You
man,
are.
if I could get in touch with Gil Vasquez,
I could try to see if I could get in touch with him because I'm still in contact with the D clan, with the Disla brothers, 3 Dominican brothers from Queens
I
that
remember
I was
them
rolling
too.
with. They had a half pipe in their backyard.
Yes.
Those are my boys.
Oh
Those are my brothers.
God, that is
Jose,
crazy.
Harry, and Robert.
Oh my bro, yo, I swear we probably ran into each other. Well, first of all, I
used
didn't
to go
look.
uptown to skate.
Look at that, and I'll go to the
Harlem.
village too. You know when you leave in the morning, you don't come back to like the next day almost. You just blading all day. There's no train. You just going. I remember I would just eat a slice of pizza through the whole day and a 25 cents juice, and I was chilling the whole day rollerblading. And
if you had to get somewhere, you grab that bus and you get as far as you can with that shit, you know?
Damn, you mentioned Gil Vasquez. I couldn't get I thought it was Vargas or something, but Gil Vasquez, I never forget it, bro. I went, it was in the Bronx, and I know you know this skating ring. Skate park. Melani's, yes.
Malali's skate park.
Yes, bro. That was the first time I threw myself on the big ramp down, and I couldn't believe it. So he was there with the other Dominican kids, and they were, you already know,
the twins.
The twins.
Because there was the Disla brothers from Queens, and then there's the Tejada brothers. I think they from uptown. But they Dominican. All of them are Dominican.
Yeah, because I remember we were all talking, and then I remember the twins were there, and of course I'm in the BX. I'm from
That's Ozzy
X.
and Nene. Remember? Ozzy
and Nene. Oh my bro. You're giving me the flashbacks right now, brother. That's crazy. Yo, those cats were so, I never forget walking into the I rollerbladed into the freaking park. And when I'm watching, I'm sitting down, I'm a little nervous, just watching to see, it's kind of like in Breakin, you want to see if they're nasty before you go in. So I'm sitting here and I see these kids flying, doing turns, and then I hear them saying, loco, esto que loco, something. And I was like this. What? The Dominican? No way. And I immediately went to him and I was like, yo, tú eres Dominicano? I was like, yo, you Dominican? He's like, yeah, bro. I was like, bro, you're amazing. How you do that? And then he introduced me to Gil, and super humble kid. And then I couldn't really do what they were doing. So what I did, I took my stuff off and I started doing flare windmills on the freaking thing. And Gil goes, I could do that too. I said, shut up. He took his freaking blades off and he started doing forward, little freaking move, and then he did a chair and he got up, and I was like, what the dude? I was blown away. But those were the cats I will hang out with a lot. I will always meet them there, and sometimes we'll go through the streets, go to the village, jump big stairs. Like, dude, I wasn't really into like grinding a lot because I wanted to always do like the bombing the hills. That was my shit. Like, I wanted to always bomb hills.
Like Airborne.
Yes,
movie Airborne.
Amazing movie, bro. I just saw,
Jack Black is in that shit.
Yeah, I saw it 2 weeks ago. Wow, the whole movie again. That movie is amazing because my boys out here, they skate. I don't know if you've seen, but I be posting on Instagram. I still skate, so sometimes I meet up with them and we bobbing hills. Not hills like New York, but there's some little hills out here that you could get some speed. And we were just talking about like, yo, how can we recreate the airborne scene? You remember when they're like going and they do the jump over the car, that whole thing? We wanted to replicate that, and we were looking at the movie.
You could do a little cheesy version of it for fun.
But if you look at it, it is pretty cheesy if you watch it.
Yeah, hell yeah, of course, man. But at the time, that shit was like, god damn. But now you look at it and you're like, yo, this shit is funny.
And I always knew that you skated because when I met you, I remember you mentioned that to me. Because dude, when I met you, I was like heavy skating. In fact, I was never really like taking the train when I was in the Heights or in the city, unless I'll go across the borough, but I will always be on my blades. And I remember my cousin, he gave me some K2s. and I thought he gave me $1 million, bro. I
Yeah.
never forget that. He lives in Long Island. He's from Brentwood, and he knew Step Fiends and all of them. And he told me
Yeah,
about
of
like,
course.
yeah, and he told me about all of them. And I remember I was looking at his rollerblades, and I was like, "Yo, man, those rollerblades look really dope. Like, do you use them?" He's like, "You want them?" I was like, "Hell yeah, bro!" I freak you. You don't even understand. I had those K2s for like 15 years. I would not let go of them though. Once my boy told me, "Yo, you could change the frame because they were UFS," and then the universal frame system. I never forget when I first read that.
Yep.
And he's like, "Yo, you could change his frame." Like, because he used to do roller hockey in Long Island in his high school.
Oh, okay.
So he had like those official
The
K2,
power shits.
them power shit. So when I got on them, remember I had plastic rollerblades. So that shit, I was like, wow. Now
Ooh.
I was like, now I got some real inlines. In fact,
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to show up to my boys so they could see the K2s because they were pretty popular at that time. Of course,
Yeah.
FR, the Sebas. You remember the Sebas?
Mm,
SEBA. They
no.
actually ended up buying FR. Right
Oh,
now, yeah, they own FR right now.
Wow, really? I was wondering, like, I can't believe they let that brand go like that. Like,
Yeah, they let go of it.
it was.
I don't know what happened, but Seba is like a European company, and they snatched FR up. And now you can see, if you look at the skates, you see like a morph of the Sebas and the FRs from back in the days, like old school,
FR,
new
no,
school.
but FR was a wheel company.
Yes, they were, but now
They
they're
were a
full
wheel company.
skate. They're full skate and
Oh, they're
with
making
Seba.
skates? Wow.
Like
Seba.
full on, because Seba and FR, they're together. Like next time Google and you just type in FR inline skates, you're gonna be like, oh snap. But yeah, man, so you got into, so you're skating, you're meeting all these people, and you're in the scene because you're outside, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're doing your thing. So
So
carry on from there.
the person who really, like, I would say introduced me to it is my brother Elvis, Elastic Fantastic.
Oh yes, Elastic Fantastic. That's my brother
That's
right
my
there,
man,
man.
right? That's my brother,
Yo,
bro.
you know,
Yo.
do you know how I met him the first time? Do you know that story?
No, was it at the skate key though?
No, man. I was actually going to your practice, to the Forest Hills practice.
Really? That's when you
Actually,
met him?
before
Nah,
the
you had
Forest
to have
Hill.
known him. Nah,
Yeah,
I could
before.
remind you of some moments at the
No,
skate
but I'm
key.
gonna tell you, I remember exactly how I met him. I was taking the bus, and when I was on the podcast with Lily and I was talking to her, and I was telling her how I met him, and I was going somewhere, we were trying to figure out if it was it Boom High School, or was it
Bound.
Bound High School, or was it at Forest Hill? And I told her, this is what I told her. And I
Forest Hill
said,
or Flushing High School?
well, we're gonna find out right now. So this is what I told her. I said, when I talk to Jiggz, I'm gonna ask him, and I'm gonna give him my route that I used to take, and you're gonna tell me where I was going. So I will take the A train all the way to 42nd. Then I will take the 7 all the way to Flushing. I will get off Flushing, walk down, take a bus all the way. I don't know, pal carajo, mad far, bro. Somewhere, and everything looks beautiful because remember, I'm from the heights. I'm from the ghetto, and I'm looking at all these beautiful houses and far, dude. And then after you get off the bus, you walk. And I remember that it was in a cafeteria that we went and we practiced.
Oh, you know where that is? That's in Whitestone.
Whitestone. I told
In
her, I said,
Whitestone, that shit is deep. Yo,
so that's where I first went, and I went
yeah,
2 times. And the first time, and this
that
is how I'm
makes
going to
sense.
remind you. When I went, after we went to that practice, we finished and it was dark. We walked a little bit, and there was a little stairs to like a little bodega that you could get a big ass iced tea.
Iced tea.
Yo, I'm right? I never
100%. getting them
Yo,
big ass iced teas on the way
dude,
home.
I remember because I will be drinking down on the bus, on the train, and I'll be
That was
mad
light.
full, drinking mad sugar because that's mad sugar. That's all it is.
Hell yeah.
I never forget that. So that was Whitestone.
That was Whitestone. That was a place. That's like our first practice spot. And you know who's the first person out of us from my generation to get their own practice spot, to have their own spot, an open spot. Like, and you went there. Guess whose spot that was?
What Bound or Forest
No,
Hills?
Whitestone. That's our
Oh, at
first practice
Whitestones.
spot.
Okay.
That's our first practice spot
Pesci?
in Queens.
I don't know. I'm
No,
just here.
Bonnie.
Bonnie?
Bonnie used to work for the YMCA, and she used to work with children. And she was in Bound. She already had started breaking. She had the bug, and she asked them, "Yo, can my boys practice here?" And then they was like, "Yeah." So then they added that to the program, and they let us break in the cafeteria up in there.
Because
So
me and Lily, we were like, no. She's like, I never remember the cafeteria. And I said, yo,
that's
I
why.
swear.
How could she not remember? She used to work there too. They
She
both used to
couldn't
work
remember.
there.
I was like, yo,
They
I
used to work
swear.
there like
We
counselors.
used to throw down in the cafeteria. And I remember, and I never forget this. I did babies. And I don't know if it was you or somebody. And y'all were like, oh, shit, I want to learn that. I don't know who it was, but I remember I was doing babies. And I got up and I was helping somebody do babies. And after that, then I went again.
Probably Jonas.
Probably, because I know he was super powerhead. And the second time I went, after that, I got in trouble with my parents because yo, remember, we stay outside talking for hours. By the time I take that bus, take that train back, Flushing all the way to 42nd, wait for the train like at 2 to 3 in the morning to go all the way uptown. Dude, my dad would lock me out all the time, bro. And after that, I was like, I ain't going to that practice anymore, man. That's like a mission. Until then, you invited me to Forest Hills.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I met Elvis. I was going the second time to that Whitestone practice, and I was in the bus from Flushing, and I see him standing, because remember, I got off the train, and I see him standing waiting for the bus. And he has his headphones, he has his little Walkman, and he's there, he's listening to his music. But what he don't know is I get right next to him. And I hear, you know when you can hear somebody's music through the headphones?
Yeah.
And I can hear like electro funk beats in the
that's the shit.
And they're like, and I'm hearing this, and I'm like, that sounds like some electro funk, like some popping music. This is what I'm saying. And then he gets in the bus. I sit down, and he sits down like 2 seats behind me. And I hear that shit loud and clear. He was listening to Clear, Cybertron.
Yeah, Clear.
And immediately I was like,
Clear. Yeah,
I was like, he's going to the practice. So immediately I turned around and I said, yo, you break? And he was like, excuse me? I said, you a B-boy? He was like, you know, he was like mad humble and shit. He was all dressed up, fly and shit, like with his hair to the side. And he looked, for me, he was like an Indio. I was like, man, this guy's an Indian guy, like a Habibi. I was like, this guy's a Habibi. So immediately I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, yo, this Habibi dude probably like, how you know about hip hop? And then I go, yo, man. He said, yeah, man, you know, I pop and stuff. Yo, that's crazy. Well, I live in the Heights. And he goes, ¿Tú eres dominicano? And I was like, what? Yo, I couldn't believe he asked me that question. And he's like, I'm Dominican too. I said, what? Yo, I was like, yo, I know Jiggz, I know Pesci. The people that went, because, which we get back to that, but that's how I met Pesci. I met Elastic Fantastic. So you were saying, because we're gonna go back to that. You were saying the Elastic Fantastic went to the BX?
Yeah, so we went to the same school and we were skating together. So me, him, Josh, and Manny, we used to skate together because Manny lived in Left Rack. That's right next to Corona. And so we basically lived across the street from Left Rack, me and Elvis.
Okay.
So we went to the same schools. We went to the same junior high school, same high school. and we were skating together, and we used to see Elvis used to always be like a comedian. He's always naturally been like that and always been
He's such a
entertaining.
cool dude, man. Character.
Yeah,
He's a character.
always cracking jokes. But he used to do like a little bit of boogie shit. And he was nice. He used to do like a couple waves, a couple little glides, little, character moves and shit. And people will always ask him to do it, So he was kind of known in the neighborhood for having a couple moves. And then he met some other dudes that was nice, that he thought was nice, He was like, nah, I ain't shit, bro. These dudes Jiggz, you gotta meet them. And their names are Gio and Henry.
Okay.
So Gio and Henry, these two Cuban guys from Corona, they moved to the Bronx. They have found a spot at, I think, is Westchester Square, the practice.
What,
So that
RTR practice?
That's Smirk's practice, yeah. So that's
Oh
the first,
my God. Oh,
that's the first
wow.
practice I ever went to. Yeah, Elvis took me there. So Elvis took me to Gio's house in the projects, and then we left, like, we cut out of school early to make it to the Bronx. We took the Q44 all the way out there, and then had to take another bus to where Gio was. Then Gio took us to the spot, to the community center, like an hour later, which was dope because we was at his crib and it was cool. His mom offered us food. It was dope. Had some ropa vieja, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're going all the way out there. You're
it was
chilling.
dope. Dope hospitality, dope brothers, and at the time I want to learn how to pop.
Okay, Elvis, so you weren't even interested in breaking yet.
I didn't really know. Like, I had seen it, but it looked so fucking difficult that I was like, I'm not really gonna get ill at that shit. Around the same time when the KRS-One video came out with Breeze Team and Full Circle, Step Into the World. So I'm seeing Quick Step doing them magnetics. I don't even understand what the fuck that shit was. Looking at it, I was just like, holy shit, what the hell is that? I wasn't even thinking about that. Also, prior to that, when we were skating, there's this famous guy who sponsored named Brian Bell. He used to go by Billy Bell. That was his alias. And he used to edit skating videos where every once in a while you see like this cholo guy.
Yes, I see
Mexicano. Check this out. Hold up. Then I started seeing this white boy with a helmet doing flares, Hespin. I didn't know it was flares or Hespins. I knew it was Hespins, but he was doing crazy combos, and it was Easy Rock.
Yep.
Little snippets in the skate videos of dudes in the West Coast doing power moves. So it wasn't even like dancing. It was a straight like acrobatic shit.
And they'll show some BMX shit, spinning and shit, right?
His name is Brian Bell. God rest in peace. Rest in peace. He passed away.
Yep.
Later on, I come to find out he's the guy who filmed the first few freestyle session videos for Cross One. Yes, sir. So he's a good friend of Cross One, and he passed away. Brian Bell. He was a pro skater, and he's nasty. Pull up his videos on YouTube and watch him skating. This dude, he had his own pro wheel and everything. He was down with Senate. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
He was down. He was sponsored by Senate, and I remember.
So he's an OG. He's an OG. He's an
OG. Yo, he was the first dude to have a camera and like make his own movies. And he would make like comedy skits and shit like that. And he was filming this shit for Cross One, the freestyle sessions. So I had got a glimpse of those power moves, but I was like, no way I could learn that shit. I don't even understand what I just saw. Fast forward, Step Into a World, same time. Elvis takes me over there to the Bronx. We go to RTR's practice. I see this guy Infrared, nice with it.
Oh yeah, man, of course, right? with the hazel eyes.
Yeah, like black Puerto Rican dude.
Yeah,
Gio and Henry is there like trying to teach us. I'm mad shy. I'm one of those guys, when there's a practice and there's like one of the homies comes to dance and then the homie's sitting down just watching.
Just watching.
I was that dude. So Elvis is practicing.
No way.
Yeah, Elvis is practicing and I'm watching because I'm shy. I'm like, I don't want to make a fool of myself. You know what I'm saying? But I'm athletic because I was already playing basketball and baseball and like leagues and shit. So I'm like, mad shy to learn this shit. It's difficult. That shit is like a new science, mathematics.
Yeah, that's something
that popping shit. Like I couldn't like understand it. So I go to like my second, third practices. I start seeing Smirk and other guys there, like young dudes, like my age, that are nice. A-Tone.
Oh man, A-Tone, man.
I forgot all
He
their
lives in
names.
Jersey, I believe now.
Yeah. I bumped into him at the club a couple after Jesus passed away.
Yeah,
rest
man.
in peace,
Rest in
Jesus.
peace to
I
him,
seen
man.
Jesus at that practice too, like a year later when I got better. So I'm
now
there.
You're talking about like 96 then, 96,
This is
97.
late 96. This is like going into the winter. I remember it was cold and we were traveling to the Bronx. And
Yeah,
it was
man.
like, I was cutting out of school, going to that practice in the community center, and then taking the train back home, getting home late. My mom was pressing me like, what the fuck? This is like 9th, 10th grade. I wasn't really allowed to go out.
Yeah.
You know, New York was fucking dangerous in the 90s. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it was.
My mother wasn't trying to let me rock like that, but we were sneaking out. We was teenagers. We was like, fuck it. And by like the third practice I go, Rocksteady shows up. Bro,
Oh,
that shit
snap.
changed my life. Yo, Mr. Wiggles, his wife, Honey Rockwell, Maurizio, and Smirk and Wiz are siphoning.
Oh my god. Now they're siphoning in that floor that look like kind of like brick, but it's not brick.
That's the practice. That's my first practice I ever been to. So you see that video of Maurizio, the next one?
Yeah. That he does the backspin and pull his
That
legs.
same day I was there, that same day. That's the day that changed my fucking life, bro. I was there that same day. What a fucking coincidence.
Yo, I'm tripping. And you know why I'm tripping? I was supposed to be there that day, and I didn't go. Did you ever meet a kid called Cleve?
Yes, Cleve, of course, from RTR.
He was my connection. He was the one that invited me to the RTR practice because he lived in the Heights. And Cleve called me up that night, and he's like, yo, you going to practice? And I said, because I was like, man, I was chilling with a shorty. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. And then he tells me, bro, the next day, you should have gone, bro. I was like, why? And he told me that, bro. I was like, what? And this is when they were doing the Jam on the Groove theater. So that's why they were always together.
Oh, okay, I see. But I'm seeing this crazy guy doing this wild footwork, throwing himself on his back, like jumping around, smiling, like mad character and shit, throwing his hat in the air, doing fast footwork, power moves, and I'm tripping like, yo, man. I'm like, this guy is a maniac. And I'm looking at Smirk, like keeping up, like a young kid, and he's doing flares and combos, and I'm like, yo, this is ill. But I'm more intrigued looking at Wiggles popping and his wife popping, killing it. That's what I wanted to learn. Then I see
you're
Wiggles
like, yo, I need to learn this.
Then I seen Wiggles hit the floor and start busting some footwork.
Some threads.
That's when I was like, I think I could do that. That's what I want to do right there. And from there on, that was it. Like I was like, yo, I'm gonna learn how to break.
And I remember, but I have to cut you real quick because this is very important, bro. I need to show you this, brother. Tell me, is that at the spot right there, man?
That is the same day. Yo,
I
want to look around.
You gotta be there.
See myself. I had to be on the left side. Yes, I was there, bro. I'm telling you, I was there on the side watching. Like,
is that you sitting
my
down in the
mind
back?
was blown. I was probably on the side because I was a shy kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
look,
he
threw the hat.
He threw the hat, and you're watching this.
I remember this clearly, bro. Yo, dude. Oh my goodness. I remember that floor going back there like a year later when I learned some shit, and I was there like kind of like trying to show off and, you know, getting busy. I was busting some backspins, and it was like, you know, got my chance to represent. But
yo, that's a very, very
damn
classic...
you pulled it up. Like I only seen the Maurizio clips from his trailer.
Dude,
but I didn't see those
practice
clips of
footage. I got practice footage of that place. A lot of it too.
Yeah, but this day in particular, I was there, bro.
Look
I was like
that.
to the side of him. That's why you won't see me on the camera. I wasn't even
Yeah.
like siphoning. I was just watching.
Yeah, you watching. So you're watching all this dude going bananas.
And I
Right.
remember that a few weeks before this. Yup, there goes Smirk. See, I wasn't
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah, man. Smirk.
A few weeks before that, I remember that I got a hold of a flyer. They had a jam there, and I had just missed it. And
Yeah, I went to that jam.
I remember it said Ken Swift was one of the judges of the jam,
Yes.
and I was like, "Who's Ken Swift though?" And I didn't know about Ken Swift till a little later, when I got to see videos of him, because I didn't get to see him in person for
You're
a
there
couple
blowing.
years.
You're
Oh,
tripping
Sweepy,
out.
that's right. Sweepy
Yeah,
was there.
Sweepy. Sweepy lived in Rochester.
And I remember on the side seeing Honey Rockwell doing like crazy headspin drills. And I was just losing my shit like, yo, this girl is nasty, bro.
So you never seen this footage, right?
Not the whole footage of them siphoning like that.
Yo, I have so much footage of practices there, man. You don't even know.
This shit right here changed it up for me.
So this was exactly that day, man.
The day for me. This was a magical day for me, bro.
So how many years ago was this?
This was 96, bro. It had to be 96.
That's 27 years ago, my brother.
In the winter, I remember dudes had coats on.
Yeah. Look. I think this is where he does that backspin.
Bro, if you see how I break, like, I'm so inspired by this guy.
Whoop.
Oh, damn. A lot of people do that now.
Oh, come on.
ain't saying no names.
A big name B-boy, too, does it, and nobody says anything.
Nah, but a lot of kids out here do it, too.
Oh, really? Up in New York now?
I guess, yeah, you know, grab your foot. It's not that crazy no more.
Look at that, dude. But let's go back to you, man. Let's go back, because you know if we go into that, we're gonna stay there.
That's
forever,
a special
bro.
moment for me, that day and that spot, you know.
Well, I'm glad I took you back 27 years into a time machine.
Yeah, crazy.
That's amazing. So now you go there, you're inspired. Yeah, I can see your face. You're like, wow.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that shit. Like, shit. I remember I had
tell me something.
Zero confidence. I was scared. I was like.
So tell me when you left the practice. Talk to me about that. Once you left, what happened? What happened at that practice that you were like, that's it. I ain't popping. I'm doing that. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So Elvis had come back before he took me. He had come back and shown me the 2-step, top rock, the 6-step, and the freeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all I knew, but I didn't know how to flow with it. So I kept trying to ask because Gio knew how to break too. So I kept asking Gio to show me stuff. And I went back a couple more times, and then we started practicing back home, like in the homie's crib, Josh. So it was me, Josh. Yeah, so it goes back. Yeah, so it goes back to the skating crew, you know. So it's me, Elvis, Josh, and Manny. And even the Disler brothers, one of them, Jose, he used to get down with us. He would take his skates off, fuck around, do a headspin drill. When we started breaking, he started breaking with us too, because we would hang out after we would skate. We'll go to the front of my crib and we'll put a little cardboard in the sidewalk until we tear it up, and then we'll have to break on the cement. Yeah, until we have then we'll just break on the cement for the rest of the night with a little radio we had, and play a cassette that had like the only 10 songs that we had to break to. And then after that, we would just break to hip hop.
Which is dope. Going into that second question, who were your mentors and teachers at that time that were kind of on top of you?
We didn't have no teachers. So this is what I'm telling you, is that when we went back, Josh is mad athletic. He picked that shit up like that. He got better than me in a snap of a finger. And then we tell Manny, yo, we're upstairs in the apartment practicing. We're breaking. And he's like, what? He's like, we're breaking. He's like, I'm coming upstairs right now. He comes upstairs and we tell him, yo, we learned this shit from these dudes in the Bronx. Check it out. Come learn this shit. He says, what, this? Son starts throwing down. He starts doing like helicopters. He starts doing like Zulu spins. He does a handstand, lands into a bridge. And then he does like a California backspin whip and kills a backspin. And we're like, bro, how'd you learn this shit? And he was like, oh, I've been doing this. My cousin showed me this a long time ago, because his cousin used to be a freestyle dancer with George Lamont.
Oh
That's crazy.
man,
That's crazy.
I gotta talk to Josh. I gotta talk to Josh.
No, that's
now,
Wild Child. That's Wild Child.
Oh, this is Wild Child.
Yeah, that's his cousin. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna call my cousin. He comes upstairs and we're like, yo, do this, practice with us. He starts busting all these moves. We're like, what the fuck? He starts coming around with us and gets nasty like that. Before you know it, like a year later in the clubs, he bumped into Kid Freeze. That's how we met Freeze. He became a mentor.
Queens.
And then he met Step Fiend, and Step Fiend snatched him up. Because it was like, oh, this little motherfucker, he got something.
Oh, so
you know what I'm saying?
That's how it happened?
That's how it happened. So check this out. Like a year we're doing all of this shit. He meets Kid Freeze. We're still skating, dancing, skating. I'm tired of getting hurt. I'm leaning more into the dancing shit. He's like, yo, I met this old school, the inventor of the Hespin in the club. He said he wants to train us and put us down in his crew. We're like, what? He's like, I bet. He said, to call him in the morning. Bro, I shit you not. The dude calls like 7 in the morning. Yo, let's go. We're gonna get this training going. Let's go. Get your OJ going. Get your vitamins going. Let's go. We're gonna get this training right now.
That's Kid Freeze right there.
Bro, Manny wakes us up.
Militant.
Serious. This dude is serious. He's at Astoria Pool train station waiting for us to head over to the Bronx. I'm like, dude.
Oh, so he was living in the BX at that time.
No, he was still living in Astoria in the projects where his mom's lives, but at the time he was dating Patty Duke.
Oh, because it was Patty's crib. Because I remember he would meditate. He'll put us to meditate. Did he do that to you too?
Yeah, of course.
On some Bruce Lee shit.
So like one of my first mentors, I would have to say, is Elvis and Gio and Henry, the two brothers.
And then you know
Gio, right?
Child.
You know what Gio I'm talking about? Gio Matrix that was with Rocksteady.
Yes, man, Gio, dude.
This whole time, bro, I'm talking about Gio, bro.
He's my God, I didn't even know.
He's our teacher.
I didn't even know that, bro.
Yes.
That's
Cuban fucking Gio.
Yo, where's he at? Where is he now?
I think he still lives in the Bronx now. He's dancing salsa. It's nasty, bro.
Oh my God, Gio, bro.
That's one of our first teachers, bro. Now,
because I thought you were mentioning, I thought you were mentioning Gio, like somebody, how many Gios there are in the block, bro? Like
exactly. I'm thinking like, yo, does he know who I'm talking about? Because
I didn't because I know Gio now that you mentioned it, but I didn't know it was that Gio. Gio Matrix, bro.
So Gio was like on this shit trying to be down with Rocksteady, and he was like, yo, I know Wiggles, B.
And he was nasty too.
He was like, and he's gonna come to practice, and if you get nice, he might put you down with Rocksteady, B. So that was the shit. I'm like trying to learn how to. I'm trying to learn how to pop.
Gio too, man.
I'm trying to learn this popping shit and go see Wiggles over there. And one day when I finally bump into him, I see him breaking, and that shit blew my mind and just changed my whole inspiration, my whole, approach to this shit.
So you have these mentors, and you have the inspiration for Wild Child too, because you seen Wild Child doing his thing.
So then he meets Kid Freeze. That phone call happens in the morning. We head out to Astoria, meet him like 8 in the morning. He's like, yo, man, y'all late. I've been waiting here for like an hour. It was like, yo, my bad. We was far. We're in Corona and shit. So we head out to the Bronx, and he takes us to Patty Duke's house. Like on 176.
Yeah, I know exactly where, man.
Big ass apartment in the Bronx.
Tell me, as soon as you open that door, big ass living room.
No furniture, just a beautiful wood floor to practice. Right? We get there, he's like, yo, you gotta start stretching, this and that. He starts telling us, yo, I'll teach you every move. He's telling us his history, this and that. I'm like going crazy. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
I'm the creator of the side spin.
He takes it mad far. I think we walked all the way to Fordham from there and bought a linoleum, like a 12x12, and hiked it back like 4 dudes walking through the Bronx. Like, this was the illest experience for me in my life. Like, I gotta if I ever make a documentary or something, that gotta be a part that gets reenacted. Like 4 dudes walking with Kid
You're
Freeze.
saying it right now, and it's going to the internet, and it stays here forever. So this is perfect, dude.
He took us to a hardware store. He picks out this linoleum. We walk back. He lays it out. We start stretching. He puts some incense on.
Did he get some silicone?
He pulls out the silicone. I'm like, what is he doing? Puts his helmet on and starts going to work.
Yes.
And my mind, yo, I could not believe what I was seeing right in front of me.
Because this is in front of you.
Yo, he was doing head spins, ball up head spins, grabbing his feet. Then he pulls out handcuffs, handcuffs himself, threads his feet to the back, threads them forward, pulls the key out his mouth.
Oh, yes.
Takes the handcuffs off, puts them in his pocket, keeps fucking spinning, takes the jacket off, throws it off, goes up into like a 1990.
Does he hollow back at the end? Because I remember he used to hollow.
All of it. He was practicing all his shit in front of us. And he does the hang glide like the 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I call this the airborns. Son just did like windmill and picked up like nothing and was holding that. And that's why I learned that move, because I was inspired by that. But I have to do it with a headspin hat or something. He was doing it just bare hands. Crazy. And then when I saw that in my face, I believed everything that he had told me before that. And I was like, yo, this man wasn't lying. And he said, yo, I invented the Arabian headspin. I used to spin on my head, jump off my head, still keep rotating in the air, land back on my head and spin again. He said, yo, I did a bet. I had a ball spot because somebody bet me to do a headspin on the top of a Heineken bottle. Like on the top, you know what I'm saying? Where you drink out of.
Well, I've seen videos of monks balance on the top of a bottle, but not spinning. Like that's another level. Like,
yeah, if that bottle would have broke, he would slice his head, could have died.
Oh
yeah,
my.
so the
you're
dude was
watching this.
Dude is wild like that. So we got to go to a few practices with him, and then he had invited us to a park jam that was happening in Queens, and Freeze never showed up. Like sometimes he would do that. He would disappear, right?
Yeah, we know that one.
Yo, come through. And then we showed up and we're like, there's some DJs there by handball court, and that's it. Then we see these three guys there. Like, I'm like, who are these guys? And I'm like, oh, these guys look old school. And they see us like by the cardboard. There's like a little linoleum. We're like trying to mess around on it. And they're like, y'all break? And we was like, yeah. Manny comes up like, you know, Manny was courageous and he had confidence. He had some moves. He was like, yeah, I break. And it was like, who y'all learning from? He said, Kid Freeze. This guy says, yo, tell Kid Freeze I said, what's up, to holler at me. And guess who it was? Burn One.
Oh, man.
It was Burn One with Forrest.
Of course.
Rock. And then Forrest is chill. He's like, yeah, I know Freeze. That's what's up.
Wow.
And this dude, like Burn One, was just like, you know how he is.
Oh,
like,
man. And he didn't even give you a pound, I bet.
Nah.
Did he have all the chains? Did he have all the chains on?
I think so. I think I kind of remember him having the chains and shit, looking, like, a little more street.
It's crazy. Meeting Burn One the first time, I caught a feeling of Eric B, like Rakim. Like when I first met him, because I already seen the videos, I was like, man, this guy got that style, like Eric B or Paid in Full, like like that. The way how Burn One is, like he gave me that vibe. He was always cool with me. He was always cool with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kind of like that street vibe. Like I don't want to say what people were doing back then, but you know what I'm talking about. But I got that vibe from him immediately since day one. And then after this shit happened, when we were about to leave, King Up Rock was like, where y'all practice? We was like, we practice in the street, bro. We bring the radio outside or we go in the park, Flushing Meadow Park. He was like, all right, I'm going to teach y'all. And he was like, all right.
Start telling you about boxing, that he boxes.
We exchanged numbers, right? So a couple weeks passed, he hits us up. He says, yo, I'm going to pick y'all up, take y'all to this practice spot. I'm going to introduce y'all to all these people. I'm going to put y'all on. So the first time he picks us up, he goes to Left Rack and picks us up on 99th Street, which was dope, man. I really appreciate that. He didn't have to do that.
Shout out to King Up Rock.
Shout out to King Up Rock, bro. Love that. And I've always, been inspired by that. And I try to be the same. Put people on and share the resources.
Definitely.
So he picked us up. 3 kids he didn't know from a hole in the wall. Took us to Bushwick to this church where they used to throw jams. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely. That they used to do
Where
the
they used to
dollar
throw the
jams.
jams.
The dollar
But
jams.
before the old spot, it was like a church.
I
This
know.
is where I first met Break's crew. I first met Wack. He had a little ponytail. I first met Chino. Chino was just popping, but he could do windmills. And then Little Vic was the nastiest.
Yeah, Little Vic, man.
Dominican, my brother.
Yeah, Little Vic.
Nasty. He lives in Miami. And I met old school white boy Pete with the power.
Yep.
And he learned from Flo. He was like, Flo,
he used to always have like the gloves in his hands.
Yeah. And I met Break Easy, and you know, all them dudes kind of embraced us. They were trying to help us. That shit felt dope. And it was cool. That's when I got like the sense of like, oh, more people do this shit. Like, you know, outside from having to go all the way to the Bronx. And I'm like, oh shit. So then
now this floor is hard floor, right? Like some type of
the cafeteria. It's like the
cafeteria, and it was like but it wasn't all black floor, right?
It was like a gray floor.
Like a gray green, and it had like some weird lines.
It's public school cafeteria.
Well, guess what? When I edit this, I'm gonna put that footage on now because I have that footage. I have footage of that practice, bro.
You know who used to do jams there? Q Unique, because he's from Bushwick.
Yeah, Q Unique. You're right.
So you know what I'm talking about. That was one spot. Then Ralph took us. He said, "I'm gonna introduce you to Incredible Breakers.
Oh,
this is how I meet you."
Oh, word! Shut up.
So before that, he's like, I'm gonna take you to my friend's house. Her name is Patty. We're like, oh, we know Patty. Of course we know Patty because we know Freeze. He's like, yeah. So he took us there. So we went back to Patty's. And then by that time we exchanged numbers with Patty, and she had the open crib. So she would let us come over and practice. Sometimes we would call her, yo, can we come over? Yeah, come through. You know, just come bring something to light up and y'all could chill and practice.
Yeah, for sure.
So we would go there sometimes after school and go for like an hour or two, practice in the living room, and then be like, yo, thanks Patty, check you out. Anyways, he took us there, and then after that he took us to Kingsbridge, and that's where I met the first one I met Sammy at Patty's house, actually, the first time. And then I had met Chino when I went to Kingsbridge, and I met you. And the first time that he took us there,
which is dope, because that was actually the following question. Do you remember when and where we met? And you just dropped it right now.
In Kingsbridge.
Kingsbridge practice, was it the 5th floor practice or was it the tennis court?
The 5th floor practice. This is before I went to the cafeteria. And it was only like a few people in the gym. I remember you, Kid Quick, Josh, myself, my brother Josh, and a few other people.
Who you showed up with?
With King Uprock and Josh and Patty.
I remember that day.
Because Patty sometimes, you remember little Josh was not allowed. Sometimes you had to pick him up. For him to go. So sometimes they trusted Patty. Sometimes she would pick him up.
Then I ended up doing that later on, picking him up.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you another ill story about that too. Like, that same year, I think it was Rocksteady anniversary.
But anyway, go back to that conversation.
No, go back to Kingsbridge. He took us to Kingsbridge and he introduced us to Josh. And this is the first time we met. And I remember that you guys were training and I was off on the side, and then you guys would have ciphers, like you guys would do drills.
Yeah,
and I remember you invited me
over, right?
Power drills, yeah, it was power drills. And
I didn't have no footwork. Straight up, I didn't have no footwork. I was just power.
You had footwork. Stop playing.
Yeah, but not like that.
You had more footwork than me. Anyways, you invited me over. Like, yo, come on, man. We practicing over here. And I was like, all right. And y'all was doing windmills. And I didn't know how to do it with my hands yet. I was doing it, without my hands.
Yeah.
So I was doing it with my hands. And then you was like, yo, practice it like this. And I remember like banging my shoulder so much and I couldn't do it. I still didn't have my windmills yet. I was just learning it. And I didn't really have nobody teaching me.
I remember I stood up with you.
You were probably the first person giving me tips on windmills, besides my friends. I was trying to keep up with Jonas, because Jonas got him first.
Yeah.
And my boy Franklin. You remember Franklin? Green Eyes Dominican.
I remember Franklin too. Now Jonas didn't have head mills. He had windmills, but it was like head mills style, right?
It was kind of like break easy. He would pop, pop, pop.
Yes,
pop,
yes. Show
but then when you guys taught me that, I told them, yo, you gotta go on your head, and he got it. Like,
because I remember that day when you were doing windmills with your hand, and I was telling you, I remember I got up with you and I was like, let's go to the wall. And I put, you remember you were on the wall, and I'm like, roll on your head and try to stay there. And then
you was like, don't look for it. Don't look for it, because that's when you're gonna bang.
Yep.
I always remember that tip.
Yeah, remember, like don't go like that, because you end up hitting.
For it. Just try to roll up as high as you can.
And then I remember you were trying it and you were hitting your shoulder. I don't know if it was your left or your right. And I noticed you were going like this. And then I was like, you're not going to learn it right away. I was like, take a little while. But that,
you know what I did? I got like the safety pins, and I cut out the cushion of a knee pad, and I pinned that shit to a sweater. And I was like, nah, because I'm gonna practice these shit. Like, I'm not gonna be on the side.
Yo, I swear, I thought I was the only one doing stuff like that. Like, and I had a sweater that I'll tuck it in, and I had a knee pad on the lower back in case I did a power move and I land on my lower back.
That was another one. That pelvis bone. Oh
yeah, my and God. You got like a little freaking burn knot right here. I had it right here too, of course, right here, and in my like the side of my. Damn, bro, those are the battle burns, or what is it, the
battle wounds.
The battle wounds. So wow, so we meet that day, and you're there just watching like.
I'm intimidated as shit. I'm seeing Josh killing it. I'm seeing Kid Quick going crazy, and
Kid Quick was already nastier than Josh at that time already, dude. That was the craziest
both
thing.
ways.
That kid was like, and you know what? He never took it serious, bro.
That's why he would. That's the shit. You know, the guys who don't take it serious.
Piss me off, bro. I used to be like I remember.
Felt like that about my boy Jonas too. Like, yo, bro,
this guy will fly, and I'm like, dude, I just taught you flares. How are you doing flares both ways now? Like, and then he'll do them really fast and high, and I'm like. Damn, you just got that shit. Wait, so that day you're practicing, and of course it's a mission to go back home. Practice is done. You're inspired. You're like, yo, there's other people out there doing this. Mm-hmm. But you're already inspired by Westchester, seeing the guys at RTR throw down. You saw the greatest, Maurizio, the next one. You see Wiggles. You see all these cats. So now you're beyond inspired. Now, at that time, when you were starting, were you involved like in the culture? And do you have people supporting you, like your family, or were they like kind of like against it? Like you have people, you know, like kind of like saying like, "Yo, man, that's dope. Keep going. Yo, I'll take you here. Here's some money for that." Or you had a pushback.
I don't really recall much pushback. My parents. They liked it. They supported me, like when I was into like whatever I was into. They really just wanted me to get a good education and shit, you know. So when I took into dancing, like I was already into other stuff, you know. So I think that they kind of liked it, you know. When it came down to like family parties and all that shit, like they'll see me do my thing, and I would see they would be kind of proud of it. And then it wasn't until 99 that I got my first gig, and I was bugging. I couldn't believe it, like that I had got paid to do some shit. And then from
they were supporting you. They were like, "Yo, you get paid."
So then from then on, they was like, "Yo, do that, man. Like that's your thing. Then go for it." That's
so
dope,
they never went against it. Being the Dominicans, because my family were like, "Tú vas a un bon. ¿Qué tú estás haciendo?" They feel like, "What are you doing? Why are you throwing yourself on the floor?"
My father's always into music. You know, so that's one thing. And then my mom was always into art. You know, she's a hairstylist, and she wanted to be a fashion designer when she was young. So she was into drawing. That's something that inspired me to draw too, because I used to see her like draw like outfits on little mannequins and shit. Like, and I used to be like, wow, like, you know, my mom could draw. You know, so I would look at the comic books and try to like draw Superman or whatever and try to copy.
So she's one of your inspirations there too.
Yeah, big time, of course. You know, on many levels. And the fact that I never got pushed back and always got support for shit, you know, I definitely appreciate that a lot. And my family always liked it. Of course, my friends got into it. So it was like, it was all around me. It was like, even then when we were in school, you know, we started a little dance club in school, and then everybody in school started supporting us. We would do little talent shows in school and stuff, and you know, got little like popularity from that, and people always like pushed us and like, yeah, keep doing your thing, man. I see you. To this day, like people from I know from back then be like, yo, you still doing that? Yo, that's what's up, man. I always knew you'd be one of those, you know, that would stick through it. And I was like, yeah, man, like it's all love. You know, I appreciate people for, you know, supporting me and showing me love, and, you know, stuck around long enough to get like even like our elders respect, you know, because when we were coming up, that's all I wanted, man. I just wanted to be accepted by our elders and the
Yeah,
OGs.
like you didn't care if your close friends or whatever, but if you get it from like Ken Swift or Maurizio or one of them, then they go, yo, bro, you're dope.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted. I didn't want props or fame. I just wanted to be accepted and acknowledged by these guys that I look up to. And it took a long time. You know what I'm saying? It took a long time, but you know, I feel like I'm there now. You know, I get a lot.
How long do you think that it took you to finally accept that somebody actually gave you that respect, that you felt that it was real?
I'm not sure. A couple years. I like after I started battling, you know, and then I feel like what really put me on the map was like the whole fucking battles with K Mel and Abstract.
Oh man.
I think look, this is what my best battles were against Abstract. And I feel like that shit is what got me ready to be able to handle a battle with somebody like
And
K-Mel.
I was there watching fucking 35 round, 40 unlimited rounds at Iggy's Gym, bro.
Yeah,
and they had to kick us out at the end.
Yeah, so imagine battling Abstract, like the dude is like an unlimited.
In fact, that jam, me, Abstract, I forgot
y'all,
the other
y'all won that shit, right?
We won that. Yeah, it was me, Abstract. Who the hell was the other person?
It was probably Ray.
Nah. I think it was.
It was either guys.
I think it was either
Flips, maybe.
Maybe all I know that I was already doing.
Was it Mock? I don't think it was.
It could have been Mock, man. It could have been Mock, because I remember that was somebody that I was training a lot with. Because
probably Mock then.
Yeah, and I remember when we won that, I remember you pacing around because we already knew each other, and I see you pacing around.
We lost to you in the contest.
Yeah. So, but I still saw you on the right, and I knew
I was waiting.
yeah, you were cool with me, so it wasn't with me, because when I would get close to you,
we already had our thing with skill methods. We already had some.
Yeah, you did. So
heat.
I kind of see you, and I felt some type of way, because I'm like, damn, bro, Abstract just asked me to battle, and I couldn't say no to Abstract. Like, it's like if, let's say, some dope b-boy like at that level, Abstract, even if you would have been like, yo, Flash, you want to, I would have been like, hell yeah. So by him asking me that shit, I was like, you choosing me to freaking battle? And then we win? And then I see you pacing, bro, like this. And I'm like, oh shit, they're going to fucking call us out. God damn it, man. I'm in my own city and they're going to call me out. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this shit. And then out of nowhere, the jam, we win it, and then I see you go straight to him, man. I was like, oh. I sat down. I said, it's not with me. And bro, you guys were going back and forth. Dude, that was the most, I've never, look, let me tell you, I've been breaking, I'm going to say real breaking, 93, 94. But before
you're gonna say 93 years.
Nah, damn. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
Nah, I'm fucking around.
But I remember that it's crazy that out of all the dope battles I've seen face to face, first illest battle was you and Abstract. Then I got to see Abstract battle Bgirls in Korea, bro. We're doing the break show, and they're at a bar. And I'll say it because this is the truth. They're drinking, and out of nowhere, I see Abstract start talking shit to Bgirls. And it looked like they were about to fight. And this is like an army bar. in Itaewon. It's called Itaewon, Korea, in Seoul, Korea, a little town called Itaewon. And they're battling Migos and Abstract, and they were battling, bro. They were bleeding from their shirts, forehead, and bro, it was like an unlimited battle that the people, it started getting crowded and crowded and crowded because more people were showing up, that they had to stop dancing. And then we were all looking at each other and we were like, so who won? We couldn't even, you know how many rounds they did? We didn't even know who won. That's
a crazy battle.
That's how I felt about you and App. You guys were going, I couldn't keep count. I was like, I don't know who got who, but all I know that nobody's stopping. Like, you and him will not stop, bro. I'm like, until you hear the guys, hey, that's it. Everybody got to get out, remember? And you guys waited to be like literally the last ones.
There was no more music.
No, nothing. You guys were there still going on. We were the last one, and Niggy's like, yo, can you tell? Like, you know, can you tell them? Because I know they're battling, but you know them better than me, man. Like, can you tell? And I said, I don't know if I could get in that one right now. And I waited. And then we were like, yo, we gotta go. And then you were like, yo, this has to be in a movie, bro. You stepped up and you said something to him. I don't know what you said, but I remember he said, all right, cool. I don't know if you said, I'll see you next time. I don't know what you said, but I know you walked to him and you were like, something. And then he was like, I bet I'll see you. And y'all left. I was like, the most amazing thing that I've ever witnessed. That till this day, I say that story. I was telling Omen recently, and I was like, man, you should have seen it. Because, you know, Abstract was cool with me, but I wasn't on his side. I was on your side because I'm from the city. And I thought he was an alien. And you know it, bro. When we saw that dude, he didn't look like nobody in New York. He looked completely different. In fact, we could get into the conversation of skill methods in you, which I witnessed that one too. When they showed up to the practice, and I remember I think it was you were on a live with somebody.
That's what started the whole heat, the whole smoke between us, was that they came to Queens and called out Step Fiends.
Yes, I think Wild Child was there too, right?
It was Tone Bone, Wild Child, and me. And it was him, Flips, and Technique.
Yeah, and they showed up. Marcus was there, Too Sweet, because he was the one that invited them to go to that practice. Because I remember I got to the practice and then I see the skill methods outside, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing here? And they're chilling with Too Sweet. And during the pandemic 2020, I don't know if it was you or who, somebody. I think it was you. You were on a live with somebody, and they mentioned that. And then they were saying that I instigated that battle. And then in the bottom, Too Sweet was like,
yeah, I thought they came with you too.
Yeah, everybody thought they came with me. And I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't even know. And then Too Sweet was like, nah, man, I invited them. Because I remember watching the live, and Bonnie was like, yeah, Flash instigated that. And I said, what? I was standing there, and I was doing shows with them already, but I never forget that I'm outside and I see the skill methods and I see Marcus Too Sweet. He's standing there and I'm like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. Skill methods here, all right. But I didn't even know y'all were gonna go at it.
I didn't know either. I was just defending my brothers.
Dude, we went in and out of nowhere, I'm like, yo, are they gonna fight? Because you guys started talking shit in the beginning. I don't know what y'all were saying to each other.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something was going on in the beginning.
Beef. I think it was some beef with Technique and Tone Bones. And as soon as they showed up, they kind of like brought it.
Yeah, man.
And it just popped off. And
I wish I had a camera. Nah, I wish I had a camera there.
Somebody had that on footage.
What?
Somebody had that video, man. And I don't know who got it, but I don't know. I hope Technique got it. But that was dope.
I know this I have. For a fact I got this, and let's see if you know. You already know what I'm playing right now. Yeah, you already know what I'm playing. Like this, boom, Jiggz and K-Mel, brother. Was that the first time?
Yeah, that was the first day when it started. he jumped off the stage and battled me. This after I already did the finals and the crew battle and everything. I was dead. I don't know how I kept up.
I remember I went to a practice and you guys were battling inside and then you ended up battling outside.
That was after this.
Oh, so this is the second time y'all did this.
Yeah. So
Wow.
what happened here is that this is Out for Fame, and we were battling with New York Kings. That was our crew, and we was trying to win because they would fly us out to the finals in the West. But we battled Floor Lords, and he was down with Floor Lords, and I thought that he was favoring them during the battle. And then Alien Nest when they finally at the end of the battle, they picked a tiebreaker, and I was mad, and I went up to the judges, and I had thrown a dick, and I was like, "Yo, fuck that bullshit," because Ness came up to me and said, "Yo, I voted for y'all. I don't know," and then so I'm thinking, I'm like, "Damn."
Who else was there? The judges?
It was K1, K Mel, and Ness. And then Ness comes and says some shit like that, and I'm already like, "Oh, so it had to be K Mel playing favoritism." So, I wasn't gonna disrespect K1. That's my OG. He was
Yeah.
he was
That's one of the
teaching us
masters.
at the time. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't like when we acted like that neither. Because he's real serious, and he would always tell us like, "Yo, don't talk
Yeah,
shit. Just
he's
talk
like
with
a
your
master.
actions."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, talk with your actions. So, I was a little
Now,
out
what
of
year is
character.
this? What year is this?
I don't remember exactly what year. I gotta look back into Out
Is
for
that
Fame.
before
I could
2000?
ask Cross One because this is at LPAC when they did the Out for Fame event. So I could find out the actual date. So then I did that. K-Mel got mad because he told me later on that they had voted for Floor Lords, but he said, "Nah, that's not fair. They kind of messed up in their routines. Give New York Kings another chance. Give them the tiebreaker." So I had already jumped the gun and dissed him, so he got mad because he was like, "I'm here trying to help y'all, and you fucking disrespected me." So he jumped off the stage, cursing me out, going crazy on me, and this is where we started battling and shit. But he was sitting down; he wasn't even warmed up, so he didn't do too good. And I was kind of out of moves. This was after the finals. I was dead.
Yeah, but the fact that you were bringing it, like you were working off of your passion of all your feelings. Like you're like, yo, this is not
Bro,
right.
this is
And
this is fight or flight. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be the end of my career. I've seen K-Mel destroy dudes in the cipher so bad that you never hear from them again. So I was like, this is the end of my career. This is it. I'm finished.
so
So
you
this
just
was
rolled the dice and you went
this
for
was
it.
fight or flight. This was like I'm fighting for my life right here. I'm not gonna back up no matter what. And that's something
Well,
that you learn in the hood. Like even if you get fucked up,
yeah,
you still go for yours and
yeah,
people
they're
still
gonna give
respect
you.
you.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that the new generation needs to understand now, that it's not just for the whole like trophy and this and that. Like it's that respect. Look at that. Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at
so
that,
right
bro.
there I was hyped because he walked off tired. And I was like, yeah, like you don't walk out from a cipher. So I'm like, yeah, I got the best of you right here. And I was talking my shit and my crew's talking their shit. So, they didn't like that. So after that, it was like on site with Floor Lords too. Um, if you see a shit with Taekwon, he did an interview with Taekwon and he said, yo, I put a B-boy hit out on Jiggz. So he told all his boys,
Like when they see you.
yeah, like when they see me, it's on site. And not for nothing, like a lot of dudes was voting against me and shit, like around those years. Like people was like really like trying to hate on me, but it's all good. I never took that shit personal. I was like, y'all gonna have to see me on the floor, you know what I'm saying? And I handle mine every time with everybody, and that's
No,
why those
and
dudes still respect me to this day.
look at that. I remember that, bro.
Yo, I
Look
was
at
so
Oscar.
surprised. I had no
I was,
idea.
yeah, I was sitting behind Oscar on the right side. Oscar was in the floor, and I was right behind him. And I'm like, what? Did K-Mel just call out Jay? Look, one of the cats ran out to tell somebody, yo, K-Mel is battling Jiggz.
Look, I'm just tying up my shit because I'm like, I was just hanging out, and then these guys show up. Like it was like a fucking like a wrestling when there's a wrestling match, and then
Yeah. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying the show right now, but this is going to really help me a lot if you guys subscribe, share it, post it. This is not only going to help me, but it's going to help the hip hop culture. So On that note, we're gonna carry on. So here, this is a part where we're at. So now, I remember I was sitting next to Oscar in the floor, and I remember K-Mel just approached you. In fact, at this time, I wasn't even talking to K-Mel because me and K-Mel had something going on because from Alpha Fame Boston, and me and him weren't cool. And I was sitting there, and I was like, God damn, why this guy showed up right now? But this battle, this is the second time you guys battled, right?
Yeah, and this video is actually edited because my boy Will recorded it, and I don't know if you know, like KML, he would get tired fast, so he would do like 2 rounds, and then he would rest. So the video was mad long, so we cut it so that it went round for round, back to back. But I went more times, and he would rest, and I would go back out like, "Come on, bro."
No,
let's
I
go.
remember.
Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
was
You
there.
called me out.
I was there
You know what I'm
watching
saying?
that. I was there watching that, and I'm like,
So looking at the video, I'm like, now I'm like, yeah, he's definitely better dancer than me. But I think that battle, like, I was coming out more rounds, and like,
you
I was
did.
dominating that
It's
shit, to be
basically
honest.
like
That's
back
just
in the
how I felt
days.
like.
Mano de Piedra Duran and who was the other guy? Was it the black guy? What's his name? Mike Tyson was
Oh, Ray
inspired by
Leonard?
him. Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard. You were basically the one that had the most stamina. You were more built in cardio. K-Mel was coming in with his style. You could tell he was more experienced, but you definitely came out like you were doing 3-4 rounds, and he would do 1 round. Because I remember I was like, "Yo, this guy's not gonna break."
Yeah.
Like he's still standing there. He kept talking shit. Like while you were doing a round, you come back, you do another round, and he's still talking shit. He's saying, "You did the same move. You're just doing basics." And I remember watching this, and I'm like, I was like, "Man, shut up, dude. Just battle."
He was
him,
telling
man.
me I did this. You know what he was saying? He was saying that I did the same moves from the last battle. Like, not even like I repeated right there. He's like,
That's
"You did
funny.
that
That's
last
funny.
time we battled," and I'm like, "Cause those are my moves. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? Like, some whole new shit? Like, this is my arsenal. Take that." You know what
Yep,
I'm
yep.
saying?
And
So
then
obviously he wasn't satisfied. He came back again after that with Jay Skills. We battled again. There's another video, which was part
yeah,
4.
I
So
never
we
saw.
battled.
Is this
We
it? Is
battled
this it
over
right
there,
here?
and
This
that's it.
one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
I
So the
wasn't there for
format is
that one.
terrible. This is like back when before.
Yeah,
Nah, this is
I
before
wasn't
people had like
there.
good cameras and shit. So
Yeah,
the this is like when dudes used to have a camera to record themselves to see what they did. My homie was practicing, and he caught the battle, and he was like, "Oh, nah, I'm gonna record this shit." So yeah, nah, right there I was good too. I was hitting power. I hit some air flares on him. I was
nasty.
like, my confidence was up already. I was like, yo, I can hang with this dude. Like, he's better and all, but I'm not gonna let him walk in here and just walk all
Well,
over me.
the fact that he gave you a taste, the fact that he gave you that taste, and then you know that you can hang with him. That's when you said, I could do this, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Which is
But
dope.
you know how it was in New York. We was so inspired by KML. Like, we was team KML. We always wanted to see him win. Like, in our minds, we thought he beat Kenny. We thought he beat Storm because we were just rooting for him. You know. But in hindsight, you look at it and it's like they were kind of schooling KML. But the energy to see one of our peers step up to them was like, oh my God, and it was big for us. So heavily inspired by KML. Much respect for him. It was
Definitely.
kind of like more hurtful for me to see, to think that he was like favoring them and kind of like playing me at that Alpha Fame shit. And I always say, I was a little out of pocket, but whatever, that shit had to happen. That's how it went down. And like I say, that after that, like, that shit kind of put me on the map, and people knew who I was and shit.
Oh
And
well, you were already
it is
known
what
in
it
New
is.
York. You were already known in New York,
Yeah, in
but
New York.
your name
Remember the
flew
Migos
after.
battle? It was in New York. I started getting props after I won bragging rights and I had battle
Oh
Bgirls.
yeah, man, and I was there too.
That started the tension with K Mel
bragging
too.
rights. Bragging rights was that. Was this before he went to Canada and became Boogie Brats and came back with a different style?
After, because Migos was out here too.
Yeah, he came out, and I remember he came to Battle Zone or Battle of the Boroughs, and he brought him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, did you go to Out for Fame Boston when Skill Metis battled and K-Mel was Floor Lords? On War, B-Boy War was out there too. Ill Will was out there too. Well, I
wasn't there.
That day. Me and K-Mel stopped talking because on the way on the van on the way to Boston, we were like dissing each other, snapping. You know how we snap in the van, and we all B-boys. And he got me so tight that I was like, "Yo, come outside, bro. Let's fight." But he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to take it there. I was like, "Yo, come on, bro." He didn't want to fight, and he waited, dude. So when I never forget this, we get to Alpha Fame, and I keep saying, "Yo, so what's up?" And he just, he didn't pay mind to me. He went into the jam. I paid. I walked in, and the first thing this motherfucker does is Gainer in my face, bro. And I'm like, oh shit. And this motherfucker smoked me. Yo, I did power moves on him. I tried to do whatever I could. This guy burnt me so bad that I literally was like, yeah, man, you got me.
Nah.
But in my mind, I was like,
K-Mel was intimidating, bro.
Yeah, he took me out, and I was like, like when you can't beat the person, then you want to take it physical. I was like, I can't, damn, I couldn't beat him. But I was like, I know I'll put my hands on him and it's over. Like, that's what I kept thinking. But after that, I remember Josh looking at me, and when Josh said, bro, don't worry, man, we're just practicing. You get him next time. And I was like, oh my God, they just destroyed me right now in front of everybody. But shout out to K-Mel, man.
Hey, it's
shout
all
out
good.
To K-Mel. It's all good. Now,
big shout out to K-Mel, man.
Yes, moving along. Now, if you can go back to your rookie self, what will you tell yourself and why? So let's imagine you see Jiggz.
That's a good question. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah, but throw it out there. Imagine you see Jiggz. You're talking to Jiggz right now in the past, and Jiggz knows this is Jiggz from the future talking to him. What would you tell him?
Mm-hmm. It's not like I wasn't getting around and traveling and moving, but I would definitely be like, get around more, travel more, battle different people in different places. Yeah, okay. Travel more, because that's always been like turning points for me and like growth spurts for me, in the dance. Like when in 2000, that for me is like a game changer. Like you see how that moment in Westchester Square seeing Rocksteady.
Yeah,
like
man.
My next breakthrough moment like that was in 2000 when I went to Pro-Am.
Yes.
And just seeing a bunch of ill dudes that are like younger than you or your age, and there's a bunch of old school dudes that are ill, and you see dudes from all over the United States, and then it's like, oh, more interesting. Damn. And then you start seeing like, dudes with like original shit, and you're like, yo, I gotta go back to the lab and work, because we on that New York formula. We on that full circle, Incredible Breakers, Rocksteady, New York City Breakers shit. We're doing fucking hardcore top rocks. Not even dancing too much. Hard top, mad footwork, power moves, like ground moves. You know what I'm saying?
In your face.
But then when you see dudes like fucking like Flipside Kings and Ground Zero, and they're doing all this weird creative shit with their own twist, and it's their own character, their own stamp, you know what I'm saying? That shit just opened up my mind and was like, yo, I could just like come up with so much ill shit, Just off of seeing dudes like Boo Rock, I already knew. I was like, yo, you gotta have an arsenal, bro. You can't just come out here, have a couple power moves. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that Floor Lords, the Boston guys, the younger ones, they got mad at me because they didn't know I was down with Incredible. And when I seen Josh battle Cloud, I remember
Yes.
Josh looked dope. He had the white Yankee jersey,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
power moves. And I was there, and I was like, damn, I think Josh lost that battle. And this dude is behind me, Jay Quest,
Yeah,
Lino's
Johnny.
nephew,
Johnny.
and
Yeah.
he's like, what you say? And I'm like, I think he lost. That's my boy. What the fuck you talking about, bro? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? And then they go up to Josh like, yo, your man saying you lost the Cloud, whatever. And I'm like, yo, it's just my opinion, you know, because Josh came out there with like, you know,
That's it.
official old school style, but then Cloud was like a little more innovative. So I guess for me it was like, since I already knew Josh, I knew what to expect, and then seeing a new character with new shit, it stood out to me. So I was feeling Cloud for that battle. I wasn't saying Cloud is better than Josh. Of course I'm rooting for Josh. That's my brother. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
learned a
Yeah. For
lot
sure.
from Josh too. So, but
Hmm.
I don't think that guy Jay Quest
I
knew that
remember
at the
Josh
time.
did feel some type of way because he asked me, and I was there that year too. And he asked me because I was rolling with all of them, and I remember that he asked me straight up if he think he won that, and I couldn't even answer him. Like I was like, well, you guys got different style. Now, if you're asking about, I didn't want to be like, yeah, man, you lost, because not everybody could
But
take.
did he beat Cloud? I think he probably
He
beat
did.
Cloud.
He did beat Cloud, and he lost
He
to.
advanced.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
lost to Benji, I believe. I think.
Okay.
And then I remember Benji went with Abstract in the finals.
He had battle Flips too, and Flips was kind of putting it on Benji, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the shoe part. I remember the shoe part. Now, was this the
Yeah, because I
2000 you're
remember
talking about? Is this the one that you're talking about? This one, 2000?
that could be. Let me. Yeah, that's 2000. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it
because
right there.
I remember Wild Child went to 99, and he was like, "Yo, you got to go to this shit, bro." And I was like,
Yeah,
"I bet
man.
I'm gonna try to go next year."
This is it right
Yo,
here.
but
And
the
then
shit that we did, the stuff that we did to make it out there, bro,
was a
was
mission.
insane. We made, yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
there's
There go
Josh.
Josh. There go Josh. That's indelible
Yeah,
for
man.
Miami. He got
Yeah,
like four
indelible
of
too.
my VHS. He still got them shits. Well, that's Cloud. That is Cloud.
Never gave him back. That's Cloud.
That's
Oh,
Cloud.
Cloud had the New York jersey. I had
Yeah,
got it
Cloud.
mixed
It was
up.
backwards.
Cloud had the Yankee jersey.
Josh had
Yeah,
a Fox.
and
The
Josh had
Fox.
the cycle. It
Yeah,
was
the
like a
bike.
cycle shirt,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Some
the
shit like.
Fox shirt. It's the Fox. Kid Quick. It was Kid Quick. I remember Kid Quick told us to start spinning, and you see the Fox. It's a Fox, a motorcycle.
Yeah, so dope.
Yeah, we started
Yeah,
breaking. I don't know who
so
edited
dope.
this. Somebody who edited proams.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes, yes, you're
Yes,
back.
yes. You sound clear. You sound clearer now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't hear the.
So,
Oh, I
okay.
heard it. I heard it again.
You heard it. You heard it.
Yeah, it's all good. Vamos a seguir.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Where
So,
where
so,
was we at?
so we were right here when I was showing you
Oh,
incredible
Pro-Am. Yeah, we were
Josh.
talking about Pro-Am. Yes, and I was telling you that, you had asked me, what would I tell a young teenage Jiggz, you know, if I could see him and give him advice. And I said that, I would tell him to travel more because you get more inspiration, you get more recognition, you just get different perspective and you meet more people, you have connects. I've made friends that I know for 20, 30 years, and I could just show up to like a city and give them a call. Yo, what y'all doing? Oh, what's popping? Let me know. And, I got people to connect with. And like I said, the first time we really traveled outside of New York far was Miami. And that shit just like, it changed the game for me again. It was like infinity, like I just felt like limitless after that. Like I wasn't worried about having the best flares no more. I wasn't worried about having the best power combos. I was worried about creating my own shit, having my own content, having my own rounds, my own signatures, shit that I could say is mine. And people won't fucking diss me for being a biter. Because you know how frowned upon that was in the 90s. If you was a biter, you wasn't taken seriously. So for me, yeah, traveling, that's what I would tell all the youngsters nowadays. You know, if you're too young, tell your parents to go with you. You know, just try to get out there, get with your homies, save your money. Now it's easier. Get on a freaking Greyhound or Megabus, whatever it is.
Yes.
Go out a few hours to DC Jam, some shit. I used to tell Frankie that all the time. Frankie would just pull up to a jam in like fucking Pennsylvania or some shit and go win that shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because he's coming with a whole different energy and vibe that whole scene don't even know. And then they're like, oh shit, here's this kid from New York representing, looking different, you know? And then you stand out, you get your props, you know what I'm saying? Move on to the next. When I was rolling with Brace Crew, that's what we were doing. We were going to other cities, terrorizing everybody's ciphers, everybody's jams. We were calling people out and being aggressive, you know? And that's just something that you don't see in the game that much anymore. You only see it if it's a personal gripe with two individuals, and maybe they'll have like a real intense call out battle. But before, it was like part of the culture. Like I remember when I went to pro-ams, it was like kind of scary at first, but then I loved the feeling. I was like, ooh, like I started getting chills when you walk in the building and like
Yeah,
20 motherfuckers is jumping at you, like, where you at? Come on. I'm like, oh, this is
and
where I
you
wanna
know
be.
you're not gonna get hurt. Like they're not gonna fight you. You're just gonna expose your reputation. That's basically what you're
Yeah.
doing. And
So
now
I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to be in the fire like that, you know? Because it ain't no win or lose when it's like a cypher. It's a lot of shit talking and a lot of chaos. But, you
and I
know,
know
you
you
gotta,
still got that. I know you still got that because I be watching. I
I
be
be
watching.
waiting. I be
Come on,
wanting
man.
for some
Dude,
shit to
I
pop
was in
off,
Puerto Rico with you in
but it
Puerto
never
Rock Steady,
happened.
and I seen how you were looking around like you were waiting for something, man. And
Yeah.
you started giving me that energy. I was like, yo, well, Jiggz throws down. I'm with him, man. Like New
I'm
York,
not a
let's
show
go.
off. I'm not a show off. I'm bad at like showboating. But when there's a battle, it's just something comes out of me that,
Especially if
you
they
know,
call you out.
it's do or die at that moment. And it's like, all right, you know. But I like to be put on the spot like that, you know. I feel like I do better because there's no turning back at that point. It's not like at practice where you could just flop on the floor and just laugh. Like, no, if you mess up, you better play it off and keep going and try to make up for that, make that round look good,
You gotta
you
come
know?
correct.
Yeah. But
Now,
you
will
know,
you tell you will tell the youngins basically be original, travel? Would you say be original, like don't bite, like try to find your own identity?
I always try to tell them that and explain to them how they can create shit. And if they like something, they can do it, but make your own version of it. And it could be the most minimal thing. It could be just like, you know, like windmills. You grab your knees, or you grab your crotch and you grab your mouth, or you grab your shoulders, like something different, right? Any little thing sets you aside, right? Like if you do, we all do air chairs now, right?
Yeah.
You know, but everybody does it different. Some people do a reverse thread, some people do the regular thread, some people hop, you know, some people do different,
Unfortunately, I never did an air chair.
some
I
people
never.
do different positions. So big up to Po One, big up to like people that
Baby.
inspire me to, yeah, of course, Baby inspired me to do it, and also Abstract. He didn't hold it, but he had a move where he would like snap like a split in an air chair
Yeah,
position. And
yeah.
that was like a move that used to catch people off guard. Like, oh shit. So when I started doing air chairs, I said, I'm gonna do like a skating version. So I started grabbing my toes like
And it
rocket
looked like
air.
it. Dude, it
Yeah.
looked like it.
So remember when they used to go on the half pipe
Yep, on
and
the
they'll
rail.
go on
Whoop.
one hand and they'll grab the foot and they called it rocket air. So the
Yeah,
legs were
rocket air.
piked, rocket air. They'll pike and grab their feet. So that's how I did the air chair. I was like, I'm gonna add a little skating flow to that shit, you know? And I would do shit like I would jump, I'll do like a 540 and you know, grab my foot or some shit. Like
True,
I try
true,
to
true.
innovate shit, bring like some of my skating shit into the breaking, you know, to
And
try
you
to be
did
original.
because anyone that knows about skating and they look at you, even in the beginning of your career of breaking, I could tell you were a skater because of how you were dressing. There were certain shoes you were wearing, and I'd be like, yeah, like I could tell he comes from the lineage of skaters, the aggressive skaters, the urban skaters out there. And now jumping into the next question, what's your opinion on breaking going to the Olympics?
I think that's dope. You know, we've been talking about that forever. You know, since the 80s, that conversation has been around. And
in the 90s, we wanted it to go to the X Games.
Yeah, of course. You know, and we're skaters, and we've seen the X game pop off, and we've seen how far skateboarders have taken it. And, you know, we want to get into shit like that too. You know, we want to travel and show our talents and take it, be able to take it to the next level and even get paid to practice or you know, have a reason to open up a gym or something, you know, and these opportunities will come because of that, you know, because there's going to be a lot of attention on breaking. So you're going to see a lot more dance studios opening. You're going to see a lot of youngsters, you know, getting into it, even support from the parents because they see, oh shit, this is a thing. Like now we got break moms, like soccer moms. We got break moms out here.
That's right. That's right.
They be going up to the judges like, but why he lose?
And the beautiful thing is too, and it's beautiful because now you have organizations like Child of This Culture that if you join their membership, they actually even give you insurance. Wow. Like me, I'm part of Child of This Culture, and if I go, let's say to a jam, let's say I go to freestyle session and I enter the jam, or I even just attend and I mess up my knee, bro, I'm covered. Like that didn't exist before. So that's why I will tell the youngins like, yo, get yours, research. You have resources.
With the Olympics, it's not going to take away nothing from the culture.
No, it won't.
The underground jams are still happening. The smaller jams are still happening. The practices, the ciphers are still happening more than ever, actually. There's more jams than ever. So it's not going to take away from the culture. It's just going to add more opportunities, maybe more on a corporate level. Maybe now there's going to be money coming in from these
more sponsorships watching.
That can help, like maybe some kids from the projects, like, you know, when there would be basketball leagues sponsored by Nike and all those kids would be happy to have something to do for the summer, right? Like, you know, those opportunities could come for breaking because of that.
100%.
Because of it going mainstream like that. It's not going to take anything away from the real. Like the real's not going nowhere. We're going to continue to do our shit, you know, and still, whether we do professional shit, mainstream things, we're still going to do underground things. I'm going to still show up to the local jams. I'm still going to give advice to the young B-boys, the local B-boys, you know, want them to get out there and get better. You know, go for it, try it. You never know. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to do something different. You know, I think it's fun to have new things in the breaking scene. When I came up, there was no Seven to Smoke. I heard about that shit like maybe 10 years ago. I think that shit is so dope. You know, it's a fun concept. Like,
it's a test. It's testing your cardio, testing your lungs, testing the quick snap. Like, how can you get feedback mad quick? Now, do you see like the underground side as one door, and do you see the Olympic athletic sports side as another door, that a B-boy that's starting right now could choose one of those doors, or they could choose even both? They could go to underground sometimes, and if they want to go train for the Olympics, do you see it like it's like a B-boy or a B-girl right now can make a decision of saying, you know what, Jiggz, I don't really care about none of them stupid jams underground. I want to win a medal. I want to be the best in the Olympics. Like, you still will push them and be like, word, you got my support. Or
if that's your thing, of course, go for it. If that's not your thing, then don't mess with it at all. If it's not your thing, like,
but don't knock it. Don't knock it, right? Don't knock it. Like, keep supporting those cats that are doing it. And the same thing, another B-boy that decides, man, I don't want to do none of that Olympic stuff. I want to win all the underground jams. I want to feel that real face-to-face cipher, you know, what we experience. Some people don't like that. Some people love that. Like, some people search for that. So I think my opinion is a beautiful thing. And you know you got heads out there that they're very against that. They feel like they're culture vultures and blah blah blah.
I'm with it 100%. I support it You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to do it, I still support you too. So
That's right. That's right.
that's
Now,
why I stand on that.
if you see someone like a random, let's say you're about to take the bus. I don't even know why I mentioned that, but let's say you're at a gas station and they see a sticker in your car that says something hip hop, and they ask you like, "Yo, what's that?" And they say they've never heard of it. What advice would you give someone interested in the hip hop culture?
Um, I'll tell them. I mean, it depends what their interest is in the culture.
Well, they don't know
That's
anything. They
oh,
just saw
if they don't
they
know
got some
anything, I would
kids. They got
say
some kids, and they're like, I heard of hip hop. I heard of it. That it's a culture. I want to put my kids in it. What would be your advice? Like, what would you tell that parent?
I would try to steer them to somebody who's teaching lessons, or I myself could be like, if you want to set up some private lessons or whatever, and I could break down a little bit of history. Other than that, I would tell them check some stuff out. You could do some research now. There's tools, there's sources like Google and YouTube. Send them a couple links.
Yeah,
Trying
and
to
then
steer
from
them the right
there,
direction, link them with the right people, depending on where they're located, and take it from there. Stay in contact and see if they're really interested.
yeah, because there is a lot of cats that you started with that you thought they were gonna stay in it, and they just stopped
Yeah,
completely.
and I've also dealt with, like, I've taught a lot of people that come and go, you know? And sometimes there's even parents who, like, just want to put their kid in an activity. It's like, man, I'm not really here to
Yeah,
babysit.
yeah, man, yeah.
I
This
get
is
it. Some people got to make their money and they teach class and all that, but like I kind of started staying away from the studios, and now I just do like workshops for people who really want to learn.
yeah,
Give
like
them those
they
gems and share the knowledge instead of just some cookie cutter shit just for the meantime.
Yeah, like a
You know what I'm
summer
saying?
camp, like a quick summer
Yeah,
camp, and
like
then come back and then be a normal person. And
I
then, like,
understand. That's all good. That's good for like a young b-boy to make some money. Yo, go teach at the studios. You make a name for yourself and you know make some money at the same time. But like for me, like I want to share it with people who really, really love it and really want to do it. That's why I want to put my energy into people like that.
dope,
No
dope, dope.
disrespect, no disrespect to people, but like that's who I really want to rock with, and that's
Good,
who I
good,
want to share with.
good. Now, in the current state of hip hop culture, what is something you would like to change?
I would like to change the respect for one another and um in the sense like I feel like if you're not successful, if you're not popular, if you don't have a name for yourself, like people overlook you, or if you were once good and you're no longer killing it, you don't get that same amount of love. Like I feel like in hip hop, once you're old, people think you're washed up instead of saying, yo, that dude used to be ill and contributed and inspired mad people and brought something to the game. Like people
Hmm.
don't, like you said, give them their flowers, right?
Yes.
In hip hop, like people don't do that. People want to, everybody wants to shine and on to the next. They don't
Yeah.
care about the people who laid it down. You know what I'm
They don't want to
saying?
pass it on, or they don't want to give the
Yeah,
credit to
and
who passed it to them.
all I wanted to do is pass it on because I feel like the OGs really didn't give me that like that. A few did. I can name a bunch, but like not all of them did. And I would like to help out the next generations. You feel me? So, but like sometimes I see that the youngsters could be disrespectful to the elders, and that kind of bothers me. And I wish that we could like bring more awareness to that. And don't get me wrong, some dudes are foul and they treat people bad, so they don't deserve that honor. But not everybody's like that.
Which is interesting. We're gonna get to that because that's actually part of one of the questions. But what is something you will contribute to the culture to make it better, as the way the culture is now? Something you could contribute.
Hmm. Well, gotta think about it because I mean, what I can contribute, I feel like I am. I'm constantly active in the mix, engaged with the youth, and always trying to be positive and give them advice and be real with them too, not just giving them easy props, but being honest and truthful and telling them, yo, you got to level up and you got to try harder in this, and you know, you're not going to make it just by doing that, you know. So I always try to be someone to help, and if I could do that more on a higher level, you know, on a higher scale, like reach more people, then that's something I would want to contribute, like doing what I'm doing now but on a bigger scale. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely like a worldwide type of thing of like, let's say they put you on the committee of the Olympics, and now you're tutoring like the young guns that are coming in the
Not
Olympics,
maybe
something
not
like that.
maybe not like that. Maybe like, for example, like Pole One has been teaching for a long time, and he gets around everywhere, and he gets a lot of respect. And you know, I really appreciate what he does. Like, you know, he takes out his time, and you could see the connection he has with the community. And you know, I admire that. You know, that's very admirable of him to be like that, be an open book and share his knowledge with people. So yeah, more like that, like on that level, more on an international level. Um, like I've been doing out here, you know.
And you've been doing it for a while because you've had that community center open. You provided that for a lot of cats, and that was one of the stepping stones to a lot of dope b-boys that are out there right now. And you could probably name them better than I can, because you know who were the ones that went in and came out of there as super b-boys. So it's like, you know, you've been doing this for a while, and I believe that if you just keep doing what you're doing, it's gonna eventually happen. Somebody's gonna like look and be like, "Yo, this is the position for you, Jiggz." And I'm gonna assume that every time you get a gig or something, it's because they do see that. They
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that
for
from you.
sure, for
You know what
sure.
I'm
I
saying?
feel
They see
like
that.
I people call me like when I'm more active, I get more calls. If I'm not too active, it quiets
And
down.
and that's
You know?
exactly what it is. You don't show up, they forget you, especially now. There's so many jams so fast. So they'll be like, yo, I don't know who that guy is. They'll be like, what do you mean? You don't know who Jiggz is? Well, you know, I've been to 20 jams and I've never seen no Jiggz,
Hmm.
because every week there's a jam, 2, 3 jams. So 20 jams could pass so fast, and you'd be like, yo, 20 jams passed in 4 months. You be like, how? Well, there's like 3, 4, 5, 10 jams a week. Like, it's crazy. Now, earlier you were talking about
Yo, my bad.
disrespect.
I know I'm fucking blinking crazy, but I need glasses and I don't have glasses.
Oh, guess what?
So sometimes I be
The
blinking
same, the
crazy.
same with me. I need glasses to see close up. From a distance, I'm good, but from close up, I'm like messed up. But earlier, you were talking about disrespect and stuff like that. Do you feel there's a lack of respect for the elders in the culture?
Yeah, I do. And that's why I mentioned that earlier. If there was something I would like to change, is like the way we honor our elders and people who paved the way. And not only, it doesn't have to be the pioneers, take it back to the 70s, but even people in the 90s and stuff like that who paved the way. And, you know, where it's going now, the Olympics, there's a lot of trial and error, you know, and I feel like I'm one of those people, like a lot of the people in my generation were like the test subjects, you know. We was out there at these jams and people were like, where people were creating the blueprint for this shit, you know, all the way from summit to freestyle sessions to your proams to, you know, all those jams. You know what I'm saying? Like we were entering those battles, we were competing for basically peanuts, because it wasn't even about the money or the fame. It's because it was something fresh, and we were competitive, and we wanted to do it on a higher level. And I think that all those small jams and bigger jams and all those years of that have led to where we are now. And I think that the youngsters, they're so focused on that and getting good that they forget. I mean, they probably don't really have time for that, to go look back at who was who and who did what. But maybe we just got to keep teaching that and keep showing them, you know. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, you never heard of this guy, that guy? They'll be like, nah. I'll be like, oh my God, like, yo, you got to see this. You never seen the Second to None documentary? They'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
Yes,
yo,
yes.
you got to see this shit, you know? So, you know, how those guys paved the way for us, like Battle Squad, Second to None, Style Elements, you know, then next generation of dancers paved the way for the guys who are doing it now. You know what I'm saying?
And there's not that
So
many doing it right now, doing what you doing, because I know if you right now mention 5 heads right now from the top of your brain that are doing the same exact thing that you're doing, that have the same mentality you have, that when you grab someone from the next generation, that you're gonna mold them, put them under your wing. There's not a lot of heads that do that now.
maybe not a lot, like, and like not too many in New York, but if you look around, there is a lot of people, you know, who have next generation crews and guys who have mentored, who are like, you know, doing their thing on the scene now. It's spread out, but yeah, there's a lot of people out there, I believe, you know, who are doing even more than I've done. And, you know, I not that I'm trying to follow suit, but, you know, on that same path and journey to try to help people get better and take this shit to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying now. What is something that people seem to misunderstand about you?
Motherfuckers don't even know. Excuse me. You can edit that shit, but like this shit used to get me mad, but now I laugh because like some people be like, yo, when they get to chill with me, they be like, yo, Jiggz, you mad cool, bro. I didn't even know you was like chill like that. You know, and I'm like, shit, you never gave me a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like some people be like, yo, when I first met you, I thought that you were mean or some shit, or that you were a dickhead. I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the look in your face. I'm like, yeah, it must be the fucking eyebrows. You know?
Oh, it could be that we're from New York, because yo, a lot of people that meet me in the beginning, they're like, I don't know, man, you were like kind of like very straightforward. I don't know, you were not approachable. I'm like,
Yeah. People like, yo, I thought you didn't like me. I'm like, what? I'm like, even when I'm battling, I don't think that I'm like that like aggressive. I like, you know, I like to laugh in people's face when I'm
yeah, but
burning them.
you are aggressive. Even if you laugh, that's an aggressive laugh. I wouldn't explain it better than that. You have an aggressive laugh, and like what you're doing when you're battling, you're basically letting them know, like, yo, I'm laughing at you right now. Like I'm like what I could, if you're battling me and you're doing that, what you're telling me is, look what I'm doing. It's better than what you're doing, and I'm burning you right now. And look, I can even laugh at it. I don't know if
But
that's what
look,
I'm reading.
I'm a cool dude, man. That I get people be getting misunderstanding. I don't know. They think I'm mean or I'm cocky or something, but I'm a chill dude. I like to laugh. I like to crack jokes. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about a good time. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. You know what I'm saying? If I have to defend myself, you know, got that Taino blood with peaceful warriors. But if it's time to get it on, then,
Yeah,
you
for
know, we
sure.
ready. But
But you leave
always
more on the
love
love.
first.
And
Love is
yes,
love.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? I kill, sometimes I just kill people with kindness now too. Like, man, I'm not gonna fall for that. Like people like want to get a rise out of people so that then they could say, oh, look, he's bugging out, but I'm smarter than that now. So yeah, I feel like sometimes people think that I'm unapproachable, but I'm very approachable. Anything you need help or advice or anything, holla at me. If you want to get these rounds, holla at me. We could do that too.
Yes,
Feel me?
yes. Now, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
If I could be remembered for one thing,
Yeah, let's say
I
50
think it
years
would,
from now.
yeah, if I could be remembered for one thing, I think it would be for being someone who really cared and someone who really loves this art. I want to be remembered like that.
like
somebody
that
who,
people be like, yo, Jiggz was that type of b-boy, that type of person that who was very passionate about what he loved doing, which is breaking the culture, and he lived by it. You could say, would it be that?
yeah, like 100%, like
Like
the
you
shit
were
is in my
committed, you were
shit
all
is in
in
my
there.
DNA, and like me and Nemesis always talk about it too. It's like we can't get mad at these young kids because they're into break culture, but we're from hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Where
that
for
is
me the last element was breaking. For me it was music, graffiti, and then the rapping is a part of it because I make music, I produce music, I used to rap, all that. But breaking was like the last element that really solidified it. And yeah, so where there's people who are into break culture, like us, we're from hip hop culture, like all
That's
the elements.
amazing. I've never heard it put that way, brother. You got to say that for the people in the back and the front and the side. Say that one more time, brother, so they can hear this, man. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, because
Wow.
it's it's a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And just like because some of these kids, they don't even listen to hip hop. They'll listen to the breakbeat mixtapes at practice, but they're not going home and there's not hip hop in the background, right? There's not a black book in their house. I got like books about hip hop history all over the house. You know what I'm saying? Like I got
Wow.
markers and shit for my daughter to draw and all that. Like my girl's a DJ. Her turntables are right there, right next to me. You know what I'm
Look at
saying?
that.
So this is a hip hop household. This is a hip hop family. You know what I'm saying? So
Amazing.
like there's a lot of people, you can't blame them if all they want to do is that aspect of hip hop. They're into break culture, and that's dope. But I'm into break culture, DJ culture, rap culture, graffiti culture, hip hop culture, the whole thing.
Amazing. Amazing. And I
Knowledge,
never heard that. Never heard that, bro.
beatboxing, all that. That's all of my friends are into that. Most of my family is into it. You know what I'm saying? Besides like, my family from DR. But like even my family out here, like next generation, like first, second generation Dominican Americans, they all into hip hop. They all love what I do and support me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hip hop culture.
That's
So I would
amazing, bro. Wow.
again, I would want to be remembered as somebody who really cared and loved this culture,
Not
this
only
this art
break
form.
culture, not only
Yeah.
break culture. Dude, that I'm telling you, I've never heard it put that way. I know, of course, the hip hop culture, but I've never really analyzed because I'm gonna be real with you. Yo, I be getting heated, bro. Like I be talking to these young cats, even from your own crew, bro. Like the youngins that I see here, some of them are very stubborn, and then they leave and they're listening to like mumble rap and all this crazy music that I never heard in my life. As soon as they drive off, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Hey, if it
And
moves them, good for you. But for me, like I remember being at practice and they'll be like, "Yo, change that music." I'll be like, "The fuck out of here, bro!" And I'll be dancing to like straight up, like a Beatnuts album. Like I'm letting the album play.
yeah,
You know
man,
what I'm
come
saying?
on
And there's
now.
little skits in between. There's some slow tracks. I'll dance at practice. Put like a Most Def album or
Yeah,
some shit. And
that's
dude is
it.
like, "Yo, put some break beats." I'm like, "Bro, I came up to this, and this is why." My mind is more open than yours when it comes to timing and shit like that and rhythms because it's not all boom bat boom 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 bat boom bat. Only so much fits in those
Yeah,
timings,
man.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah,
there's
yeah.
the boom 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 boom
Mm-hmm.
boom boom bat,
Yeah,
there's so much space in between and shit like flows where you could slow down, speed
yeah.
up, a lot of nuances and shit that you could hit when you practice the hip hop music. And like when we came up before the DJ Lacey's became popular and stuff like that, and we had access to all these songs, we would break into hip hop. When you were
Yeah.
going to jams, when you were going to teen night clubs, right?
Yep.
What was it? Sidetrack? What was it? What was the name of the spot?
There's so
The
many.
teen
There's
spot.
you got Skakey, you had
Skakey.
you had freaking Bomb
But
5 back then.
you
I
know
don't
what
know if
you know what I'm talking about though. We were dancing to hip hop.
yeah, straight hip hop. It was
Maybe
like
one or two up tempo beats, but
yeah,
it
that
was
boom
hip
bap.
hop.
We're on that boom bap.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So
in it.
we came up breaking to that,
And we
like
follow
sometimes
lyrical. We would rewind and watch. We would buy the tapes and hoping they had the lyrics, so you could kind of read through them and
how
be
about
like, "Yo, I
stop
got the
and
lyrics."
rewind? We would stop and rewind and write the lyrics.
That's another one too. That's
You know what
another
I'm
one
saying?
too. Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
so
So
you're embedded in the culture. You want to be remembered as a real hip hop head. Real. Like there's no faking the funk. Like every single day you do something hip hop.
pretty
Every
much,
single
yeah.
day. Like
I
there's
think
not
I
a day. Try to
constantly
think of a day.
thinking about it.
Try
Like
to think of a day that you didn't do something hip hop.
it's just always on my mind, whether it's dancing or it's I'm listening to the music or I'm looking at some art. It's just always there, especially
Or
being
even
in New York.
talking. You start
Be,
talking and you start talking with your hands is hip hop. Like you have a certain lingo that you're talking to wifey, and then you're talking to her and you're not like talking like if you talk romantic, of course it's romantic, but you still got the hip hop swag, like the hip hop feel, like that vibe. So you're not faking the funk. But dude, that is amazing what you said about. I never really looked at it that way because I've always had this stigma with these kids that it irritates me because I go to practices and I bring my own speaker and I bring my own music.
just
And
support them. Try to
yeah,
teach them. Be
I
like, yo,
keep
listen to
supporting
this.
them, and I don't tell them, yo, I don't knock them. What I do is I just keep playing it, and I make my own mixtapes now, and I play it so they can hear it. And some of them I can see that they kind of a little annoyed because they want to hear some trap or whatever they break to at practice when I'm not there. Because I don't know. I only know that if I go to practice,
I
I'm the
feel
one
their
that's
vibe too. I know what you mean. You could
yeah.
tell like they're not hyped about it. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know, man. Like, but all you could do is keep trying to expose them to that shit and
And I don't knock
introduce.
them. I don't diss them. I don't knock them. I just set an example and I play these. Like, let's say I've made like 2 or 3 boom bap mixtapes, like from Tribe Called, Most Def, all that. And I'll play the whole hour and a half mix. And I could still see them. And they're like, my generation, the people that know about that, you see, we all like, oh, and they're like this. And then I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? And then sometimes I will do some electro breaks, like funk, the electro funk that was like Chemical Brothers, Prodigy for power moves. It's a little bit more up tempo, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Get busy, child. You just
More
there,
hype,
like, yeah. So I'll put that for the power moves. But that's such a beautiful thing that you said that about the hip hop culture. You want to be remembered, and dude, we're at the end of the show. And the most beautiful thing about this is, my brother, and I appreciate you so much. Right now, what I want you to do is this. I want you to tell everybody, what are you up to these days? Where can people find you online and connect with you? Either you teach classes, whatever you do, plug yourself in. I'm going to give you your full screen, and I want you to talk about what you're doing now, where you're going, what are your plans, what you're expecting the people to think about you, or what, just fill it in.
Well, these days, what can I say? Trying to stay as active as possible. A lot of things changed after the pandemic. Um, so the approach is different. I feel like everything is starting to move now. Things are opening up, starting to get more opportunities and get out there. So I think, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, make myself available and try to be genuine and, keep working on myself, trying to be a better person and, keep paying it forward, for all the times that people looked out for me and showed me something or hooked me up or put me onto a gig. I want to pay that forward and do the same for others because it always feels good and to feel appreciated and loved. So I want to continue to do that. Anybody who's willing to learn, like I said, y'all could reach out to me. We could build. My schedule is pretty flexible. We got an open practice on Wednesdays. I don't know how long it's going to keep going, but you could hit me up on social media and I could plug you into that if you want to come train with us. It's on Wednesday nights. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Jiggz1981. Probably be easier to find me there. And so it's JIGGZ 1981. Y'all can follow me there. Like I said, hit me up. Been doing, I've been moving, been doing a couple things, been doing some workshops and been judging some events, traveling a little bit. I worked with USA Dance earlier in the year when they were doing the tournament for the Breakin for Gold. So I did the training. I'm a certified judge for USA Dance, and I judged the New York City qualifier. So it was a dope experience, and seeing how things are going moving forward into the picking Team USA for the Olympics. So I was involved with that. I'll probably be involved again next year. Shout out to USA Dance, and shout out to everybody putting in work, getting things together for the Olympics and Team USA, all the participants, everybody else in the local scenes all over the US and shit. Like, let's stay up and let's build. Like I said, you can holler at me. I'm pretty accessible and I'm always open to work with people. I don't really have problems with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always try to keep it chill. Always have been like that. And yeah, that's pretty much, where I'm at. I'm here. Like I said, I'm here for y'all. That's what I want to do. I want to help people out.
Awesome. Now give your shout outs to the people out there, your crew, wifey, everyone else. As a matter of fact, send my love to the wifey, super dope B-girl, and hopefully one day I could get to do a show with her and hear her story, because that would be amazing. Like, just to hear her
story
side.
Is crazy.
and it will be lovely to just hear the story, and maybe you could tell her how the show went and how you felt about it. But brother, give your shout out to your crew, whoever you want to talk to. Just give your shout outs now. It's on you, brother.
A big shout out to all my friends and family, of course. My brothers, my sisters, everybody else, my parents who always supported me, my crew since high school, all the homies, Supreme Beings, Domestic Apes, my mentors, Incredible Breakers, Full Circle, Step Fiends. Big shout out to Patty Duke, one of my first teachers, to Gift Freeze, Geo, Elastic Fantastic, Wild Child, my brother Josh, Bongo Rock, Arson, Rockism, Jonas, Mute, Arson, Flav, Be Ready, all the originals. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody from the originals. But
Jonas.
Yeah, y'all know who you are. Yeah, I threw Jonas out there.
Jonas in there?
I don't want to forget anybody.
Are jealous.
Oh, Arjealous, the Raw, of course. Brother right there. Yeah, I love that
Oscar.
guy.
Is that Yaya's
Oscar,
brother, right?
Oscar, the realness. Yeah, that's my bro. All my friends, Abby, Elmo, who else? All the young generation, X Fiends, Teen Titans. Big shout out to anybody out there who taught me anything. I hope I ain't forgetting anybody. King Uprock, Alien Nest. I learned a lot from a lot of people. I won't claim them as my teacher. They won't claim me as their student, but I took a little bit from everybody. Shout out to Fast Break. Oh man, all my biggest inspirations too, like Ken Swift, Crazy Legs, Storm, Maurizio, Emilio. Who else? Man, so many. What's his name?
Speedy?
Evo.
Evo, Demon Smurf.
Yeah, Demon Smurf, all the guys from Second to None. Freeze Fine, that was my favorite dude in Second to None. Man, there's
I know
so
you like
many.
Gumby and Ice. Remember them?
Yeah, Gumby and Ice. Man, Suicidal Lifestyle. B-Boy Thunder. A bunch of European guys
Damn,
that
brother, you didn't
inspire
mean all
me.
the greatest.
Yeah, man. Shout out Incredible Josh, Chino, Too Sweet. Man. Shout out to Whack, Nemesis. Man. All my brothers, yo. All my brothers, all my sisters.
This is a big
Uh,
hip hop family, man. Big
yeah,
hip hop
yeah.
family.
I just don't wanna forget nobody. I'm throwing all the
Now,
names
can
out
you
there.
just imagine
Cyclones, Tony
everyone you
Bones.
mentioned in the same room? Can
Yeah,
you
I mean,
imagine that, bro?
that'll be beautiful. Shout out to all the rival crews that I battled.
Yes,
Skilled
that's
Methods, Floor Lords, Boogie Brats. They all helped me in my journey. I got better because I was battling them. I had to keep up, so that brought the best out of me. All the West Coast B-boys, all the Texas B-boys that
oh,
inspired me.
you be there forever. You be there forever if you mention the West Coast.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
There's more on the East Coast than the West that inspired me, to be honest. You know,
okay,
but
okay.
shout out to Flashback, of course. First dude helping me out with the head mills. I'll never forget that. And I still teach people with those same techniques. And I'll be like, yo, you don't got them until you got these. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And there's a lot of B-boys now who are like high level who don't even got head mills. It's like, you got to keep putting people on. Not
some
shame
of
them. Like, yo, you don't
some of
got it.
them,
Just be like,
guess what? Some of them don't have backspins. A simple backspin.
yeah.
A simple backspin.
I'm always big on foundation, training foundation. Even me, like when I go a couple days without practicing, when I go back to basics. I don't care. I'm not trying to like.
Yeah, that's the
I
same
go
as.
back to basics. You know, it's like martial arts when they do the kata or whatever.
Yep.
Back to basics. Always. I'm big on that. You know. So that's how I maintain. Always work on my basics. But again, big shout out to all the pioneers because I wouldn't be doing this without them. So back to like what I would like to change is showing that respect for the elders.
Yes.
You know, we don't have to hold people accountable for their actions or the business that they do on their own business. As long as they're not violating people in the scene, then what they do in their own time and in their past is their past. You know, it's not really our business, but we can still honor their contributions and what they brought to the table and what we've learned from them. Because if they didn't exist, then we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. So we got to acknowledge them respectfully, as respectful as we can. You know, some people have tainted their legacy, and that's unfortunate. But that doesn't mean that we should treat all the elders that way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to lead by example and always, you know, give them their flowers and show them their respect and their love, you know, because it would hurt me to see the young generation turn their back on me and disrespect me and like hate on me. But I know that's not the case because I'm always showing them love and I'm always there for them. So, you know, it also takes apart from us, the elders, to also be kind and be, you know, be decent, try to be a decent human being. You know, I know this is
100%.
hip hop, this is competitive. Sometimes you got to have a hard shell. Sometimes it's just a character. We know that it's an alter ego, but be mindful because there's little kids watching,
Yeah.
and there's parents watching, and there's even your elders are watching if you're playing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So carry yourself respectfully and just always try to do better, be better, and admit your wrongs. You know, nobody's perfect. We got to understand that we make mistakes, but we could always redeem ourselves. Don't forget that. And just always stay positive and be realistic. You know, try not to lie to yourself. If you know you got work to do the work. Don't be in denial. You know, don't be gassed. Don't push people away who are trying to help you too. Like, try to intake that. That's just advice for everybody in general, even myself. I gotta say it and hear it, so I gotta practice it too.
Beautiful words, Jiggz. I'm telling you, man, you nailed it. You freaking
I just need
set.
glasses, my eyes. Wow. Looking crazy out here.
The things that you said, man, today, it's so inspiring me. And one of the reasons why I chose you is like, and I've been wanting to interview you is because I've always had so much respect for you. I got mad love for you. And since the first time I met you, dude, I saw the hip hop spirit in you, and it never left. Every time I see you, you still carry that hip hop spirit. And dude, I will always remember you for that, for being one of the last Mohicans in New York City that's still keeping that New York City style alive. Because I could have you in silhouette 20 years from now, and I'll put you in a bunch of different countries, and I'm gonna be like, that's a New York City b-boy right there. So I love you, brother. So much.
Another thing, I love you. I love you too. But another thing, not only preserving New York City and the style and all that, but for me, a big thing also I didn't get to mention is putting Dominican Republic on the map.
That's right. That's right.
Always representing for Dominican Republic and my brothers and sisters. We got a couple guys on the come up now. You even plugged me in with the community out there. Thank you so much for that. I've been back and forth building with these guys.
We're gonna do some stuff. As a matter of fact, I want to talk to you about, because now they got
the association. I want to help these guys.
Yeah, man.
I want to help these guys and hope that they get opportunities to represent and be a part of this too. You know, they asking questions. They don't got as many resources, and they're not.
Yeah. We are the resources.
They're not as ahead. You know, when it comes to knowing people and knowing how to go about shit. But you know, that's why like people like us gotta help them out. And you know, I'm proud of that. I've always been proud of that. Ever since I was young, I was used to be like, you know, because they always say Black and Puerto Rican started this and hip hop, but then it's like, I know there's a few Dominicans in the mix. And
the thing is that they used to call us Puerto Ricans. If we're next to them, they're thinking we're all Puerto Ricans. That's all it is, man. That's all it is.
I know. It's all love. It's we a family anyway, you know. But
we're Tainos anyways. We're the Taino blood, Puerto Rico, Cuba.
But we also are contributors. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like even from back in the days, like the homeboy from Rocksteady Take Two is Dominican. I heard Austin Paul from Incredible Breakers Dominican.
Yes.
Bunch of ill rappers. Like nowadays, you see
Taki 183 was Dominican too, the graffiti writer dude. If I'm not wrong, that's what I've heard. He was from the Heights too.
Nowadays, you see a lot more Dominicans involved in hip hop, where back in the days they wouldn't get that recognition. But you know, we're here to help dudes get on the map and represent. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against nobody, but it's just to represent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, we gotta come up. We gotta bring our brothers from the island that are struggling, and if we could bring them out here on some hip hop shit, that would be amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like
share the blessings with them. You know what I'm saying? Why
man.
Not? That doesn't hurt us. That helps us.
They got a taste from you. They got a taste from Pookie El Nino. They got a taste from Omen. They got a taste from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we all Dominicans, and we show up there and we're like, yo, look, there's a way out of this island, brothers. You know, sisters. Like, so we're gonna leave it like that, my brother. Again, thank you for doing this, man. This is freaking amazing. I'm so excited.
You better edit this nice.
Dude, come on, man. Nice. I'm gonna kill it. You gotta watch Lily's shit. You gotta watch Omen shit. You gotta watch, you gotta catch up. You gotta catch up, brother. You gotta catch up because
these joints are long. You better trim this a little bit.
Well, it's gonna if you go to the YouTube, you'll notice it has chapters. So if you look at the description, if you're not interested in certain things, you look at the questions and you click on the chapter, and we'll go straight to that conversation that we're having. Because it's
because this was more like a conversation, taking it back more than an interview. So we talked about a lot of different things, which is good.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. That's why it's called History Worth Listening to, because a lot of people don't know everything you said today.
And there's so much more too. Like,
man, we could do a part 2. We could do a part 3. It doesn't matter, because it's impossible to put 20, how many years? 27 years you've been doing this, my brother? 20 something. Yeah, man. You said 96.
About to go on 26. Yeah.
Okay. So over 25. It's kind of hard to put 25 years.
27.
Exactly. So 20 going on 27, putting it in 2 to 3 hours. That's hard. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but we
But
did what we
got it
did.
in.
Yeah, we got it in, and I thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Junior Jiggz.
Ya tú sabes, aquí
You already
representando
know.
para mi gente, para los
You already know.
dominicanos,
De lo
New York
mío,
City,
pa
tú
siempre.
sabes,
You already
mío.
know.
New York,
So,
what's
ladies
up?
and
Come on,
gentlemen, this
Queens.
is Flash Talks, history worth listening to. My name is Flashback. That's Jiggz. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.